So she came back while we were in bed together, and we just made it work.
Worst possible time. His hand came out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I was mid-stroke, so I just popped right into the other. And
Yeah.
all right, well, hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We are the Geek Battalion.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, that's us. I'm one of your hosts, Jimmy. I'm joined by my two best battles here. I got
Battles?
yeah, it's an army thing.
Is that like battle buddy for short?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's literally a thing.
That's clever.
Yeah, it's a thing in the army. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah. So anyway, my two obnoxiously I was going to say gay, but I can't say that.
I mean, you can.
I've got two of my best buds here.
Man, that's a weak left turn. I don't like it at all.
No? Okay.
See, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You're not within slapping distance from either one of us.
Yeah. So let's just get to it. I got B on my left.
Yeah, I'm here.
And then joining us virtual today because he's, can I say it?
We're on the clock. Yeah. We're on the clock.
Yeah, he's got a little one on the way.
any
Maybe tonight.
minute, probably.
Yeah,
so.
And it's Duncan.
Howdy. I'm an artificial approximation of Duncan.
So. Oh, you missed a perfect opportunity to say this is the life model decoy of.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well. I wasn't smart enough for that.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so what we do on the show is, so if you haven't caught the drift already, we're down and dirty. We're a couple of veterans and a cop. Hold the spit.
I was trying not to make the spit joke this time, but oh well.
No, okay.
All right.
Yeah. One of these days, like I said, one of these days I will not do that, but not this day. But yeah, so we get down and dirty and we talk about geek stuff, comics, pop culture stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek, pretty much everything is on the table. But yeah, so that being said, let's get right into it. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's get the sit rep going.
I don't know. Duncan, you wanna?
Sure.
You wanna start us off?
Yeah. Well, explain what the sit rep is.
The sit rep, for if you're a first time listener, is basically where we talk about what we've been up to since the last time we got together. Little peek behind the curtain. We haven't recorded together for the last 3 episodes. We had Jimmy's QRF on D Space Nine. Then we had a Family Guy episode for our Family Guy It's a Trap Star Wars one that we had recorded before, and then we had my QRF on the Dark Knight viral marketing campaign. Just with scheduling and jobs and whatnot, it's just been tough to get together. So we're back together tonight, and so we're going to try and catch up a little bit on some of the stuff we've missed in the time that we've not recorded together. So.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I want to interject, and I want to say we have officially hit 1,000 listens.
What?
Yeah, 1,000.
Right.
Yeah, that is a huge milestone for a podcast. I mean, it's crazy easy to get 1,000 listens and views on short form media, but on long form media like this, that's just incredible. And in the time span that we've done it, so I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has listened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, giving us comments, feedback, everything. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it is so appreciated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and just the other day we hit over 200 followers on our Instagram.
Oh, dang!
Nice.
So that's been growing pretty steadily. That's great. So we appreciate it a lot.
I really want to thank the 300 listens that wasn't us. So those people are really coming through for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a huge following in California somehow, some way. We don't know anybody in California, so
cool.
Yep, thanks to Cali, you guys are rocking it.
All
Appreciate
those
it.
strategically placed stickers I left in San Diego. You're welcome.
Oh, one more. I have just a quick announcement. We updated our logo.
Oh yeah.
we rebranded. We're the same dumb motherfuckers as we were before, but we're a lot cooler looking now.
No change. Change.
Thanks to a guy on Instagram I found named @Franzastic. He's an artist that I had been following for a little bit, and he had some commissions, and I just decided to pull the trigger and have him design some characters for us that represent, each of us hosts. And we'd kind of talked before that our previous logo was kind of a placeholder, and it was kind of just to get us going and see, is this going to be a thing that we do? And it turns out it is. So we figured it'd be good to get a real logo, pay a real artist to, make some really cool art for us, and support him, and make sure we're not, supporting our future Terminators.
Right.
Oh God damn! What if that's what they look like? Is our logo? Old logo.
We're the reason that. Oh no!
It's like
that'd be kind of cool.
You just chose the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as our destroyer. Fuck.
Yeah. That means we have new merch. I took all the old merch off that had the old logo on there. There's still the off the wall logo. There's still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, Mandalorian, Guardians, the Spider-Verse design. But we have some new ones with our new logo and our new characters on there. So go check those out at geekbattalion.threadless.com, and they're pretty cool. I'm excited about them. So.
Yeah, props to the artist. He did a great job. I mean, my arms are slightly smaller than in real life, but he also he evened it out because one of the legs is way bigger in the picture than my actual one. So
the third leg,
yeah.
I love it. The detail, it just like captures everything. Like I don't know the prompt that you gave him. But it was.
I know you guys pretty well.
It was clearly very specific.
Yeah, it was spot on. It captured all the essence of everything. It's so awesome. We have new stickers for it, and it looks amazing. Yeah, I really love it. So huge shout out to that guy. What was his name again?
Franzastic. Franzastic on Instagram.
Yeah,
so
I didn't want to attempt it because I was gonna fuck it up. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think both Duncan and I own every piece of clothing or equipment in that logo. So you have to step up your game and get you one of them Trekkie shirt things.
Okay, so I got to get the Trekkie shirt and a needler from Halo.
You need a needler.
I said what now?
My wife got me a present, and it's the Master Chief helmet.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty badass.
It's rad ass.
It could use a touch more weathering for my liking, but I'm a little crazy like that. But it looks great. It looks great.
Yeah, I love it. I told her, like, as soon as I pulled it out of the box, like, this is never coming off my head. And it stayed on for a good day and a half, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when I did take it out of the box, I had the Halo theme playing. And it was, I went all out. It was awesome.
That's well done.
Yeah, so thank you, darling. I love you. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
All right, back to the sit rep then?
Yeah, back to the sit rep. Yeah.
All right. I'll start out then. We had... like I said, it's been a minute since we've been together, so we got a few things to talk about. There's been quite a few trailers. I just jotted down a few that I wanted to talk about that I know you guys would be interested in too. I'll start with the Ahsoka trailer. We got our first full-length trailer for the show, which premieres August 23rd. So coming up soon. There were some very interesting moments in there. There's some great Ray Stevenson stuff in there with remind me of his character's name.
That'd be Balin Skoll.
Yeah.
Balin Skoll. And his apprentice, he has a pretty strong voiceover for the whole trailer and whatnot. And he mentions Anakin to Ahsoka when they have their little duel, it looks like. So it seems as if we're getting a character who was familiar with Anakin Skywalker or knew him, because he says that Anakin spoke highly of Ahsoka as if he'd had some sort of personal conversation with him. So that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. In fact, I'm so excited. I might have a little something extra for all of you out there. coming very, very soon. So
future QRF.
maybe a QRF in the pipes. So
He finally did it.
I did.
He did the thing.
I mean, I'm crying through the whole thing because you're holding a gun to my head. But
Yeah.
He will do this now.
And then we got our first full look at Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Which is probably the last scene in the first season. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. With it being Rebels 5 and definitely a take on Heir to the Empire, I think he's going to be more prevalent than just a last scene cameo.
Maybe. I think you're wrong, but maybe. We'll see.
I mean, from what I've seen and what I've read of Heir to the Empire, because I am reading that currently, I'm like halfway through. And I feel like they're setting up Heir to the Empire. I mean, I think they already kind of confirmed that.
Well, they did. He did say his movie will be titled Heir to the Empire.
So maybe that's where the connections come in.
Probably, yeah.
But then there's a moment between Ahsoka and Sabine where they kind of hint maybe that Sabine might be Force sensitive.
Oh yeah, this threw Twitter up in an uproar.
She refers to. They're talking about Ahsoka's training with Anakin and how she never finished it, and how she was tough on her master essentially, and then Sabine refers to Ahsoka as master.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know where you're at, and are you still battling through Clone Wars? Or
still battling through Clone Wars. I'm coming up on the end of season 5.
Nice. Okay. So season 6 goes a little bit faster. Those are the lost missions. So those are the ones that were pretty much done when Disney canceled the show. Mm-hmm. So Filoni and Cartoon Network sold the finished episodes to Netflix. Netflix released them, so it's not a full season. I think it's only like 12 or 13 episodes, maybe.
Was season 6 the one that had the battle on Umbara?
No. But I do love the Umbara arc. That's one of my favorites.
Was that 5?
That was 5.
Okay,
4 or 5. Yeah.
It's basically Vietnam, but for the clones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. What'd you think of that one?
Are you there?
Of which one?
Umbara, the dark planet. You can't miss it because it's got General Pong Krell.
No, okay, that's okay. I'm terrible with the Star Wars names, especially with the planets. But no, I that's the one where he's purposefully killing the clones, right? He's like setting them into death, deadly situations.
They're expendable. They're there to die.
Refuses to call them by their names.
Yeah, I liked it, and I liked him until kind of that reveal. I think they could have maybe done that a little bit better. It was just like, I'm just doing it because I'm evil.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to impress Count Dooku.
Yeah, it's like, and he's not even like, he's just a stan. Like, he's not even working with Dooku. He's just like, I want to have a place in the post-separatist win. So that was kind of odd to me that's how it went. But
no, I agree. But like that arc, I loved it, and it's like, it's also like they're fighting a losing battle there. Like, it's one of the few times that they actually bring up during the Clone Wars that like the Republic forces were kind of devastated. Like they kind of got their ass handed to them a little bit, and of course, a lot of that might have had to do with Krell just giving bodies away, just like Operation Human Shield, like hit them up there. So I don't know, but I do love the parallels with Vietnam in that arc.
Yes,
and it's one of my favorite.
The clones are great in it, and Rex is great in it, and like their
just so
personality and interactions like come through, and it's good for that purpose there. I like that a lot. And then Krell is like he's clearly a very powerful and dangerous Jedi, so it was interesting to see that aspect of it too. So
I also liked how like none of them hesitated to just shoot him in the face. Like, you earned this shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get, buddy.
Yeah. But that's exciting. Season 6, not my favorite of the show, of the whole series. But again, you gotta kind of watch it with the perspective of they were canceled at this point, and
Right.
Filoni did everything he could to put a bow on what he had that was close to being finished. There's still another half that was a little further along the way that they never did finish. So they scrapped those episodes. And one of them was a really cool, like, murder mystery with Obi-Wan and Anakin, where they go to Utapau, where Kenobi ends up finding Grievous. They go to Utapau and they find this, like, probably the biggest kyber crystal ever located. And for whatever reason, there's a big cover up of where this is going to go. And turns out the Republic has their eye on it. And if you know anything about the backstory of the Death Star, the super laser is powered by kyber crystals. So that's where that was going. But they cut that one. It's pretty short. There's a lot of weird, you'll love them. There's a lot of weird religion of the Force episodes with Yoda, but they are actually pretty well done. There's one of them that's a little out there, but
I'd rather see that though than like fucking the Senate talking about trade politics. So
banking deregulations and
like
I know.
Padme being like, I have to give another speech, so I'm gonna go do that.
I don't care.
Like, just shut up. Can you fight somebody, or can there be somebody get cut in half?
Wear this super hot white outfit thing.
The animation doesn't do it for me.
No?
So.
I get it. It's fine.
But so anyway, Ahsoka trailer looks great. Excited for the show.
Oh yeah, super pumped.
Then another, I guess, I included this one because I thought it's fucking weird. Did you guys see the trailer for Wonka?
I saw one of them. I think maybe there's another. I don't know. I heard about it, something more than what I saw, so maybe I just saw part of a trailer.
My note for this is, did anyone want this? I don't know where is this coming from? Timothy Chalamet as young Willy Wonka, like starting up his chocolate business.
Wonka backstory. Nobody wanted this, needed this, desired this.
No, that son of a bitch, Hugh Grant, taking work from my people and becoming a CGI Oompa Loompa. That's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
I won't stand for it.
Very, very odd. And then just like Timothy Chalamet, just like the way he's playing him in general is just super odd. I don't know.
I'd heard he's trying to play it more like Gene Wilder, which I guess if you have to
it
pick
seems
one.
more like. So originally, I had heard this movie came on the tail of Joker. So like Joker came out, and then they're like, ooh, like let's do another project about a slightly crazy, weird character that we can, give some backstory to and tell, and then we can name it just one word, like Joker. And that was why Timothy Chalamet got chosen, because he could do maybe this kind of darker, twisted Willy Wonka leading up to, I don't know if it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or the original or what, but now it just seems that they've kind of like turned on a dime and they're doing this really goofy take on it. And like you said, Hugh Grant as a foot tall Oompa Loompa who's in a jar on somebody's desk, and
his head is like 3/4 of his body too.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
really
know,
weird.
man. So I just included that one because I thought it was odd. But
yeah, I don't want that.
Do you guys see the trailer for The Creator with John David Washington?
I did not. I don't even know what that is.
Yep. Nope.
So
You're speaking French. Yep.
Yeah, you should check it out. It basically looks like it's from the director of Rogue One, Gareth Edwards. That's his name, right? Gareth Edwards?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's from him. It's looks like a future war type thing between artificial intelligence robots and humans. And John David Washington plays a human soldier who's basically sent on a mission to take the robots, their latest like super weapon that's going to turn the tide of the war, sort of thing. And it turns out that it's like a super advanced robot kid, essentially, like a human being looking robot that is growing and evolving and learning, but it's also like a super powerful robot. So he basically ends up taking this kid, and then it looks like it turns into kind of a "am I on the right side" sort of thing. And I'm actually protecting.
Almost like Westworld.
Sure,
Yeah.
I've never seen Westworld,
Yeah.
so maybe.
Yeah.
But
A little bit.
he ends up protecting the kid, sort of thing. It looks like, so there's some dad vibes going on there, but it looks fun. It looks interesting, and it looks like it has a cool aesthetic and whatnot. So
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
Okay. The creator. Okay. When's that coming out? Or did they have a release date?
I don't know if I saw a release date on it or not. I think it might be 2024, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
So
Movie or series?
movie. Yep.
Movie,
Just
okay.
a movie. And then there's the latest Netflix live action anime show that they're doing, which is One Piece. Are you guys familiar with One Piece?
No.
It's ringing a bell, but I'm not huge into anime.
So One Piece, I'm not either, but One Piece is actually, so it was a manga first, and it is the best-selling comic book or manga of all time. Like, it has sold more copies than any Marvel comic, any DC comic, anything on the face of the planet.
Okay. So, is it better than, or is it bigger than? Well, I guess it's bigger than Attack on Titan.
Yes, like it's sold more than any of those. And then there was a very popular anime that was based on the manga that went on for years, and now this is a live action version of that is based on, I would assume, both of them, but I don't know that for sure. But it looks like, part of me says it looks interesting and it looks like it could be fun, but also part of me is like, it has this weird Netflix sheen on it that all their shit does, and I just don't know if it's going to turn out to be something anybody likes, because Netflix seems to cancel every show before it even finishes the first season. So I don't know if it's anything even worth getting invested in.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. not really moving my needle at all.
I would say watch the trailer and just see what you think. But like I said, there's something to it, because, like I said, it's the best-selling comic book of all time.
Right.
But so I might give it a try just based on that. But
then again, I like the live action Cowboy Bebop, and
that's true. You did.
People
So,
are not happy about that. So whatever.
yeah, and that's another show that Netflix immediately canceled.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, dicks. Yeah.
And then the last one I had is just the final trailer for TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
I'm getting pretty excited about this one, actually. I wasn't initially.
But Vanilla Ice coming back with the ninja rap is what sold you.
Yeah, go Ninja, go,
Fuck
man.
yeah,
Ninja.
I'm excited for that.
Ninja
I'm
rap.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I think it'll be a good avenue to introduce my kids to
Hell
a
yeah.
little bit more of Ninja Turtles too. So, and also there's apparently a ton of great comedic actors and funny people in it. Like
Yeah.
Splinter is Jackie Chan.
Yep.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
John Cena is in it. Paul Rudd is in it.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, Maya Rudolph.
Okay.
Bunch of really funny people. So I'm Seth Rogen is in it, and I think he's either producing or directing, or
I
he
think
wrote
he's
it.
one of the executive producers.
Yeah, he's heavily involved in it. He's been out there promoting it prior to the actor strike, but yeah. So that's what I had for trailers and whatnot.
Awesome.
Do you guys have anything?
I got a couple things. What do you got?
Well, I need to do some clarification on some things I said in the past couple episodes.
I don't think so.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Here comes our retract.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jimmy's a dumbass.
Oh, this is my favorite segment.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's the
Our new segment.
the best segment of the whole thing. So when you speaking about anime, a couple episodes ago, I mentioned Alita Battle Angel. right?
You did.
I thought it was Battle Axe. Wasn't it Battle Axe?
No, Battle Axe never came up at all. So I was talking to my wife and I told her, oh yeah, I really enjoyed Alita Battle Angel. And she's like, you mean Battle Angel Alita? And I was like, well, I'm familiar with it being Alita Battle Angel. So I had to do some research, and it is technically both.
Yeah, one's a movie, right?
The movie is Alita Battle Angel, right?
Yeah, the one that I saw on Netflix was Alita Battle Angel. The anime is Battle Angel Alita. So I do apologize if any of the anime fans out there listened and heard me speaking just shit out of my mouth. So I do apologize.
That's not your fault. That's dumb. They shouldn't have done that. That's dumb.
And then one other clarification. We got asked what was our favorite movie poster of all time. And I was pretty drunk when that question came. So I picked Goodfellas. I still like the poster of Goodfellas, but there's so many other better ones. I mean, Back to the Future, Karate Kid, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Batman 1989, Shawshank Redemption, Jurassic Park, Alien. All of those are leaps and bounds above Goodfellas. I mean, I like the Goodfellas. It's classic and everything, but there's just so many other better choices out there. So I think I would revise my pick, and I would probably have to go with Raiders, just because that style like sets up a lot of other style of movie posters down the line. So you see that kind of style reflected. So yeah, I just wanted to not sound like a dumbass anymore.
Good luck with that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to sound like one, but I can at least mitigate it, right?
Yeah. Doing our best.
Yeah.
We all are.
We'll do what we can. That's fine.
All right, B, what you got?
I got a few things here. I'm going to try to run through this, but I hate politics. Let me be very clear. I don't like any of them. And I'm not trying to make this political, but we discussed this the other day, Jimmy and I. Apparently, there was a congressional hearing about aliens.
Oh,
yes.
And they admitted it? They're just like, oh, yeah, we've had these in the backyard for a long time.
There's like a former intel officer with the Pentagon that was like, we have non-human crafts and non-human samples from those crafts.
Yeah. The movie Independence Day was actually a documentary. We just, yeah.
Yeah, they reset the Matrix.
But I had to dig to find anything what? How is this not I know I'm dating myself here, but this is the big font headline shit, war,
yeah,
right?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over TikTok. When I'm on TikTok, that's every other video is, hey, did you know aliens exist? Yeah,
you know
I
what?
do now.
That's the one place I didn't look. My bad.
And all over Twitter or X now.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Duncan? Are we getting distracted, or what's the big push for the alien thing? Because this came out of left field. I wasn't tracking anything like this. But what's your take?
I have no idea where it came from because I refuse to watch the news or anything like that. But I'm just excited that they're real. Maybe one of them can come down and give me superpowers at some point.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I've been thinking.
They have a lightsaber.
Exactly.
Answered that question.
I mean, if you, I don't know how, because I haven't watched the whole 12-hour hearing. I've watched snippets of it and seen some highlights. But I mean the implications are huge. They've talked about I think there was a brief part in it where they were mentioning reverse engineering technology from alien technology or not non-human. They keep referring to it as, and he's like, yes, yep, we've done that, and it's just
unreal.
Well, what kind of things do we not know exist still in terms of that technology? Or
and his go-to answer was I would love to tell you that in a closed setting. I'd be able to answer that in a closed setting.
That was even freakier. It was just he's I can talk about that, but in a closed session. And it was fuck, man.
What are you talking about in those sessions?
They were so how many have you seen? He's I'll tell you in a closed session.
Oh my God.
What?
What if the first one we meet, hey everybody, this is Grogu. like this has a terrible name. Yeah, like,
I've been working for Disney for the last 5 years.
they were really cracking down on their child labor laws, so they just started using real aliens.
Well, then that ties into the alien lady on the airplane a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
like was that really an alien? Then
Wait a minute,
Like,
what?
yeah, there's some lady on a United Airlines flight
Screaming about the person that's not real?
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was like what's that lady's name? Kate plus 8. I thought that was her. You know,
just being a Karen.
Yeah, just being a Karen. Just like I don't want to spend any time on this. I'm like, get off the airplane.
Yeah, maybe it's all connected.
There was a bunch of people joking that it was secret invasion marketing, but
oh damn! If only it would live up to that kind of marketing.
I don't know if I don't know if you saw, but there was a bunch of or not a bunch, but there was some viral secret invasion marketing where they were just putting people in scroll makeup and having them walk through newscasts in the background.
That's awesome.
They just go to a local news broadcast where somebody's on the street recording about a new bodega somewhere, and they just have a scroll just walk through behind and just kind of linger and be and then disappear. So they were doing some of that, but
yeah, that's awesome. Guess no big deal. We'll just blow through it like everybody else did. Yep, there's aliens, whatever.
Yeah, aliens, cool.
But so on to a more proud moment that I couldn't be happier with what we've accomplished here. We successfully broke the internet. That's right. The Geek Battalion vets did.
We did.
One of my favorite podcasts, The Weekly Planet, mentioned Rom the Space Knight in one of their episodes. Tell me that wasn't us. Yes. I know it was. I know it was us.
All right, sure.
Our influence is reaching to Australia now, and thanks, boys. We appreciate the nod.
I can look at our stats, and there was a play down in Australia, so it very well could be.
We are international at this point.
I just hope one of them was just like, "Oh shit, Rom is trending. We gotta work that in somewhere."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, international. Yeah, hello to our one listener down in Brazil and our couple over in the UK. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Buenos dias and
oh Jesus,
top of the morning to you.
Oh my God.
Oh fuck.
Oh I know that was.
I'm sorry.
That was Irish, right? Yeah.
People in Brazil speak Portuguese, not Spanish, and that was an Irish accent.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was a shitty one. Give him credit. It was,
It was more of just an American saying.
That's the type of quality content you're going to get on this podcast.
So for all our overseas friends, yes, we are that American asshole. So,
I'm sorry. Don't hate
it's
me.
fine.
Yeah. Please don't give us a 1-star review.
But
5 stars only, please.
Before I dive way deep into some stuff here. This is a spoiler alert if you haven't been paying attention to anything about the Acolyte TV show, the Star Wars Acolyte that's coming out. So if you don't want to hear this, give us a minute here. We're going to talk about it very briefly because we don't have a lot to go on. But the rumor circulating is that Keanu Reeves,
rumored or possibly
confirmed, has been on set and will play a character in the show, which many are speculating to be Darth Revan.
Yeah, I have that written down in my notes too.
Huge.
Yeah, he's from the Knights of the Old Republic, right? Revan?
Correct.
Okay, so I haven't played Knights of the Old Republic. It's on my list of things to play. So
good stuff.
I don't know. Well, all I know is I saw a YouTube video that kind of went into his character. He's the guy that was a Sith, got had some kind of memory loss, and then became good guy, right?
You're close. Yeah. Okay. You're close enough.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's all that I remember. But I mean, I saw that. I was like, that'd be pretty cool.
Hopefully, we'll move on to some more news with that here in the coming weeks. But super excited for that show. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that would be huge. That would be very exciting news.
But I'm that being said, because I can't stop talking about Star Wars, I pulled the trigger.
Yep.
I got the PS5.
Hell yeah.
And as soon as I had that, I beat Jedi Survivor. And like, no grown adult should be able to do it in the time frame that I did. But I did. Gamefully employed grown adult, I might also add. But I loved it. I probably have some spoilers because everyone in this room has beat the game, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I think I might talk about some spoilers here, if that's okay with you guys. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Bode Acuna, loved the twist. Thought it was great. However, it was kind of confusing. So like he was essentially Republic intelligence before the war, or maybe during the war. And this Denvik, this ISB guy, he was working for him and then doing like Black Ops stuff for the Jedi Council, which I'm all for. I think that's awesome. I would love to explore that world.
Yeah, so that's a cool idea, is that the Jedi had Black Ops.
Oh yeah, of course they did. Somebody had to do the wet work, right? Like so they had to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So and they've kind of touched on it in the past with oh God, I'm killing myself here. You have to edit this part while I think about it. They mentioned his name in the Kenobi show. He was banging
on the Hidden Path.
Yeah, he's banging a Asajj Ventress.
He's got the real long hair.
Quinlan Voss. There it is. Quinlan Voss.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He essentially did that stuff too. And they touch on that in the Clone Wars too. That because Kenobi has to do a mission with him where they go after Cad Bane or something like that.
That dude, like he was almost like he was shirtless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and he's got the yellow line across his face. Actually has that same force power that they use in the game where he can touch something and sense the force echo in it.
Yeah.
So that was actually his power in the comic books before, and they stole that for the game, which I think works really well. And it's kind of cool to know that someone else can do that. And then the other thing, so when I got to Tanalorr, throughout the whole story, they're saying that the only two people to ever survive basically from coming back from Tanalorr was the Dagon whatever guy and the female Jedi that kind of locked him in the Bacta and all that stuff. They were the only two to go to Tanalorr and come back alive.
Yeah, Santari Kree is her name.
Thank you.
Kree.
But then as soon as I got to Tanalorr, I found a force memory or a force echo, and it's from Oppo Rancisis, who was a Jedi Master on the Council during the Clone Wars, and he was there. So that means the Jedi Council was aware of this place and chose to either didn't tell anybody, or they purposely left this secret world, for no one else to know about, which I think is very interesting. I also think it kind of contradicts the whole plot of no one knew about it, but whatever. Either way, very enjoyable game. I'm still digging through all the side missions and stuff. But I can't decide if it's better than the first one or not. I really enjoyed the first one, and it was kind of an original take on a toned down Force Unleashed type game.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched the trailer for and some of the cinematics for Force Unleashed, and like, oh my God, what a great game that was. Like,
oh yeah,
Starkiller is what I would do if I got unlimited force powers. I would do all those things. Yeah. I want to create a big ball of force and just shoot it all over the place. That's what I would do. So yeah.
That doesn't sound right, but
just shoot
what did you
force all over the place? Come on.
A big ball of it. Yeah. Real quick on Survivor. So what did you think of the final battle with I forget his name now, the Jedi or Gendai warrior?
Well, because I'm a video game bitch, I played it on story mode, so it was super easy.
But I just mean like even I don't necessarily mean that because I don't give a fuck what difficulty people play games on because I'm all about just the fun of it.
Right.
But the in-game logic of it was just like, oh, he just killed him. Like it was just
Right.
like that.
Right.
And like those dudes like are immortal essentially and like can heal from almost
Pretty much
any
everything. Yeah.
So I just thought, to me, like knowing that going into the game, I was like, this will be very interesting as to what he needs to do to either kill or restrain
just
his
hit him a bunch
character.
of times with a lightsaber, and then
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
then
yeah,
he's
like
dead.
how do you
Yeah.
give Earthworm Jim a warrior's death? You know, like he
Yeah.
Exactly.
just keeps growing back, and like in the original Clone Wars series, the animated super short cartoons,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan fights a Jedi named
Right.
Dirge, I think, and he's got the same like kind of cool ass armor and everything, and Kenobi ends up doing the alien thing where
He fucks it?
he basically gets inside of him and then explode like he
Oh, like
blows him
Matrix.
up from the yes, exactly. He
Yeah.
does the Neo.
Oh,
And that guy doesn't die. Like he
Right.
it
That's what I mean.
just eviscerates every part of him, and like at the end you see a little piece of him squirreling away. So
Right. So that was like, I was like, well, maybe Cal's going to have to like use some sort of clever force ability in combination with some of that like technology of
right.
the High Republic era and
Yeah.
like put him in like freeze him or like
Right.
trap him in stasis or some sort of shit where it's just like he's out of the game, but it's just like, he just stabs him basically. It's like, oh,
I
okay.
think it would have been a cool intro to where you can tap into Cal's dark side abilities.
Yeah.
Because and it's funny that I just mentioned watching the Force Unleashed trailer or cinematics, but when he did that, when he would do his like force charge and he would explode essentially, he like turned the stormtroopers to ash. Because
Yeah.
there's a scene where Vader's walking up to him and he goes nuts and like kills like 50 dudes.
Yeah.
With this big explosion, and as Vader's walking to him, their ash is like burning and falling on Vader when he walks. So like that would have been cool. Like the only way you can beat him is you have to tap into your dark side and get a taste of how powerful you are.
Right.
But again, they would have had to have like there would have had to have been like an extra ability,
Some sort of precedent
Yes,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like and I don't know the dialogue for that fight scene was
abysmal.
not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was just kind of ridiculous. But I also didn't understand like his whole he has to serve Dagon because he bested him in combat, and then like, well, I just kicked your ass. How about you just
so for
leave?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And he's like, no, I'm
No.
gonna die instead.
no, goodbye.
Right?
Well, and I was like thinking about it just from a story aspect of it. I was like, if they maybe changed just a few things around and like when that battle happened, and maybe because the whole premise, right, is that they want to get to Tanalorr. You can't get to Tanalorr because you need the compass to get through the Kobo Abyss to get there. Well, it would have been cool if maybe they like somehow sent him through the Kobo Abyss, but without the compass, because like
Right.
then he's just trapped, lost in space, and like maybe he's alive, but
Right.
he can't do anything. He's just there.
Or throw him in a
So-
Sarlacc. Like you can be
Or that.
slowly digested for 1,000 years. I think that sounds like a good alternative,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of, Boba Fett references, they definitely could have done that. So.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Did you get to that point?
I'm aware of it, but no, I'm not there yet. That's all I've been trying to do right now is do the bounty mission so I can get to that. But so I did watch a fair amount of the cinematics for the game before I even played it.
Oh, okay.
But I stopped about midway through, and for whatever reason, the order in which the cinematics went, they showed that scene before I quit watching it.
Oh.
So it did spoil it for me, but again, I don't care. I'll take Boba in any way, shape, or form I can get him. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm
it's
happy
cool,
about it.
Cool little moment.
But
Yeah, I gotta say, I loved the game. I think it's better than Fallen Order just because of how powerful that you become. You can pretty much, if like you said, it did feel like a Force Unleashed light, if you will. But there's like so many abilities that you have. You know, I can't even count the amount of hours I lost because I got a new ability and then now I can go to this area. I can go get this hidden area or get this hidden item. So I had a lot of fun with that. However, my two critiques are the big bad evil guy, Dagon. You know, that boss battle was over in like seconds.
Yeah.
It's like you lead up to this the entire time, and it was just done. And I was like,
yeah, but Cal also kicked his ass like every time he went up against him.
Well, right. So I mean, I guess he doesn't like really improve from those two fights.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a little bit stronger, but I mean that battle, I just felt like maybe he had been like holding back in the other two battles, but that one I felt like it should have been harder. But I'm glad that it wasn't, because speaking of hard battles, fucking Vader, man. Vader comes in and I got fucking wrecked for hours, or well, not hours, but for a good 45 minutes. Like, you're playing a seer, so you don't have all of your other abilities that you're used to.
Yeah.
And I was furious. I was at that point where I was like, I was saying the battle lines verbatim, but like in a mocking tone, like, no, fuck you, let's go. Yeah. So, but I loved the game. I thought, I would agree with your with QRF thing where you were saying the betrayal from Bode seemed a little out of place, or however you phrased it. It just,
it didn't really work for me.
I just felt like maybe they didn't plant enough seeds along the way, so that, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just missed them, but I felt like it just wasn't led up to enough. There wasn't enough setup for it that it felt honest, and it felt like a real story beat. It just kind of felt like an M. Night Shyamalan twist where it's just like, boom, he's a bad guy. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, that sucks. And it's cool. Like you said, like his backstory is cool. And I like the idea that he was a spy and all he gives a shit about is keeping his family safe and him safe. And so he'll work with whoever has the best safety plan for him and his kid and can offer him the most. And that's cool. And I'd like to see some of that explored in the concept, but it just didn't feel like it really fit for the character and the game that they had developed this whole time. So
yeah, like I went into that knowing that he got betrayed because I edited your QRF, so had a little bit of a spoiler, but that was fine. But so I'm looking for it the entire time, and so like I'm like, okay, is here the betrayal? Here's the betrayal, but like. And going back to like one of the signs, like going into that, like when I think when they first are at the High Republic moon and Bode's helping him, and he starts questioning him about the Dathomir witch that he's with. I can't remember her name. Marin. Yeah. He's questioning her about Marin. He's like, oh, well, you've been spending a lot of time with Marin. And like, I was like, oh, he wants to get with Marin. He's fucking jealous. That's what this is going to about. Because everything always comes down to a chick. Yeah, that's every good bro fight is always about a chick. But then it was weird because then he's like, well, you shouldn't have attachments. But then this whole time he's got attachments. Like, bro.
Right.
What?
Maybe it's just happened to me that I had a lot of glitching issues in the game. And the cinematic where I think they're on Jeddah and Marin and Cal like make out.
Yeah.
It glitched on mine and she's literally sucking on his nose. It was so fucking weird. I'm like,
no, that's not a glitch. Yeah. That's just how Dathomir is.
Oh, they just ended nostrils. Like, I want to eat them boogers. Like, just oh god, it was terrible.
They say it's like the horn of the face, instead of having just on the face. So
gotcha. All right, that's weird.
It gets a lot weirder actually.
Apparently,
in all my fan fictions. But
I think you might have googled the wrong movie.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say about it, it was killing me throughout the game. Bode, I'm like, I know that voice. Whose voice is that? It was Charles from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh.
I looked it up, and yeah, sure as shit. He was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, great. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm still farting around with it. But right before I came over here tonight, I did start playing the campaign mode on Modern Warfare 2, and I might be on my bullshit for a little bit. So
okay.
it was way fun. Like, I suck at those games, but god damn, it was fun.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's all I got.
All right. So Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. It's season 2. We're out with that right now. And there was actually a really awesome crossover episode that just happened. There's another Star Trek series called Lower Decks, and it's a cartoon series. And it just basically makes fun of Star Trek the entire time, but it's set further in the future. And so, like, Captain or Admiral Riker is there. No, yeah, on Death
I don't know
Ears?
anything about that.
Yeah, no,
Yep, don't know who that is.
Okay, yeah.
All I know is that Jack Quaid is part of it. That's all I know.
Yeah. So Jack Quaid, Dennis Quaid's son, he plays Boimler, who is an ensign in the future. But so the crossover was there's like this portal that they find in Strange New Worlds, and it ends up sucking Boimler into it from the cartoon, and he comes out as a real person. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and like Spock is in it, and it's just a really interesting, it's a time travel, paradox episode. Like, oh no, you can't say this, you can't do that, or else you're gonna, fuck up the future. But it was a really cool episode. So that's season 2, episode 7. Really, really interesting. My wife loved it. She'd already watched it. She's like, we have to watch this again. I'm like, okay, we'll watch it.
I like that concept of like introducing a cartoon character like that way. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was I haven't seen that done recently. Maybe I've seen it done, but just not recently.
Yeah.
But that was cool to see. Let's see. Next up, we got What We Do in the Shadows, season 5. Either of you watched that?
I tried. It's funny, but it's a little. The pace is too slow, and it's a little dry the first couple episodes, because I watched.
I just gave B like the craziest face as far as the pace. I feel like it's a pretty good pace.
I don't know. It's very
I'm
dry.
totally unfamiliar with this. I don't even know what it is.
It's Taika Waititi's. It was a movie they made, and then they made it into an FX TV show.
Yeah,
it's
so
about
basically,
vampires.
Vampires?
Yeah, vampires in Staten Island, and they're trying to blend in, and just all of the crazy adventures that they have. How they're just like so out of touch with the world. Like they're like, show me my email. Like you have 5,000 emails. Well, who's emailing me? Like, or where do I find this? It's just silly little things like that. But it's really well done. Taika Waititi, he does an excellent job with the series. So I'm loving it. Season 5's out. Comes out each Thursday right now on Hulu. So yeah, if you like that at all, I recommend it. It's so funny. We just bust out laughing each time we watch it. Let's see. Then I touched on Keanu.
Ooh.
Okay.
How did you touch on Keanu?
With my dick.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Okay, last thing I have here is Barbenheimer.
I don't fucking care.
Yes.
I don't care at all.
No, I got to talk about it because it's out right now. So if you're living under a rock, Barbie and Oppenheimer came out this last weekend, and surprisingly, Barbie grossed more than what Oppenheimer did.
Is that surprising? I kind of could have probably guessed that one was going to be.
It had the biggest opening weekend of 2023 so far, from what I read. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Barbie grossed 162 million, while Oppenheimer grossed 82 million, which is really interesting. A lot of people are saying that Oppenheimer is Chris Nolan's best work so far. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say yes or no. But it sounds like it's a really good, well done movie. And
I'm excited to see it. I just haven't had a chance either. So
I probably won't see it until it comes to streaming. I mean, I want to see it. I'm not giddy about it like everybody else. And I don't give two shits about the Barbie movie. So
Barbie's director, Greta Gerwig, she's last known for her directing of Lady Bird, decently done movie. She was also an actress in White Noise with Adam Driver. She played Babette in that. That was a good, interesting movie. But yeah, so her first like super huge movie. So kudos to her. I'm not going to see your shitty movie, but kudos.
I heard it's actually pretty funny, but I
like Ryan Gosling a lot, so I'm interested just in general, just to see like the comedic aspect of it. But I will not be seing it outside of streaming. Like
I'm not going to spend money on it.
I'll wait.
Yeah, the only reason I would watch it is if I had a daughter that would want to watch it, and my daughter definitely does not want to watch it. So thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully, like G.I. Joe gets a cameo in there or something like that. Maybe.
Oh, that'd be pretty rad. Yeah.
John Cena is in it.
I know, and I've been told he's a mermaid. So
he is a mermaid Ken.
Yeah.
From my understanding, but a couple of other things here. Namely, we got four more casting announcements for Superman Legacy. That I don't think we talked about the last time that we recorded together. We talked about David Cornsweet as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, but we maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe longer, but got castings for Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman, depending on how they do it. Guy Gardner, who's Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho. I would guess, unless you're more than I don't know. They're somewhat popular characters if you watched Justice League and Justice League Unlimited growing up. They were all on there at least in some point, except for Metamorpho probably wasn't on there that often. But Hawk Girl played a huge part in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, had some great arcs. Guy Gardner is in there, and he's kind of known as the asshole Green Lantern. He's like the redheaded stepchild, literally, of the Green Lantern Corps. With a bowl cut that everybody thinks is annoying, but he's also like annoying because he's actually good at his job. But he's also very famous in the comics for getting knocked out by Batman in one punch. So there's a great issue of Justice League Unlimited or Justice League International where the entire Justice League just laughs at Guy Gardner for getting knocked the fuck out. But so Hawk Girl, they cast Isabella Merced. She was the thing that I knew that she was in was the Dora the Explorer movie that came out, I don't know, however long ago, that I don't think anybody saw.
Wait a minute, which Google search was that you were using for that one? Was it?
It's a not a porn.
Oh, okay.
Hot Girl, no. Lost in the Woods, no.
This is getting us into real weird. And then Guy Gardner was Nathan Fillion, who we just saw in Guardians, and is obviously very famous for a lot of nerdy properties.
Love that pick.
He's also voiced Hal Jordan numerous times in a lot of different DC projects, so I think a lot of people were surprised to see him cast as Guy Gardner, but he's great friends with James Gunn, so it's not a surprise to see him in something. And then we got Mr. Terrific, who is played by, I'm going to probably mispronounce his name, so I apologize, but I think it's Edie Gathegi. And he is, if you are a comic book guy, he is from X-Men First Class. He is the mutant who like adapts to any situation and can't die, and then
Darwin
dies immediately. Darwin, yeah. So he's also on House for a few seasons, but Mr. Terrific is basically like a super genius. I think he's commonly referred to as the third smartest man in the DC Comics universe. He's a decathlete. And he has, sometimes it's a superpower, sometimes it's a technology that he developed that makes him invisible to all forms of technology. So like he can walk into a bank and like not be captured on surveillance video, or he can literally fly under the radar because it can't detect him and things like that. And then he has his these like nanobot kind of like robot things that are basically like spheres. They're called as T-spheres, and they float around him, and they can do a variety of different cool things. They can blow up, they can, you know, project holograms, communicate, make him fly, whatever, stuff like that. He's a cool character. And then, let's see, I did Hot Girl, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho.
I only know who that is because they released him as one of the DC Lego superheroes collectible figure series. So
yeah, basically Metamorpho. He's played by Anthony Kerrigan. If you guys have seen Gotham, he's in Gotham, and he plays Victor Zsasz in Gotham, I believe. And then he's in the HBO show Barry with Bill Hader, and he's great in that. That's a super funny show. But Metamorpho is basically like an old school adventurer type, kind of like Indiana Jones, who gets exposed to like a radioactive meteorite, and he while he's grave digging, it's part of like some ancient Egyptian artifact or something, and that they found when it hit the ground, and he gets exposed to the radiation, and he becomes Metamorpho, which is like the elemental man is his kind of tagline, and he can shapeshift and transform his body into any element in the human body or any element in general, depending on the take on the character. But I posted on our Instagram he was in the Young Justice show, which if you guys haven't watched, is well worth a watch. It's a great animated DC show on Max, and he has a really cool moment in that where he is with Batman on his little Outsiders team, and he battles Deathstroke in that, and so it's a cool moment. But yeah, he's a pretty cool character, so I'm excited for those castings. It is a little odd that they're in a Superman movie, but James Gunn has kind of addressed that and said that these characters serve the story that he is telling, and that's the most important thing for him. So
you just went on a deep dive on the DC universe, and it echoes what we were talking about a couple weeks ago about our issues that we have with the DC universe. And my issue is that there's so many connections, and you have to understand all these people to understand a 2-second reference in a movie sometimes. So like there's like so much backstory, and it's so heavy. So yeah.
I don't think that's any different than Marvel. I mean, like, you just don't know who those characters are because there hasn't been movies about them. Nobody knew who half the characters were in the Marvel Studios movies now, especially like Guardians and all that before now. And now they're popular characters that people know, and maybe they started reading the comics because of that. Like, me rambling about them, I don't think is representative of how easy it is to get into or read about those characters or learn about those characters or for them to be put into a movie. So I think they can be done well. I still don't trust a fucking thing that DC is going to do until they do something good. So we'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, this could be this. I mean, with Gunn taking control of this, I mean, I'm interested to see what happens. It could be really really good.
Yeah, I hope it is. There were some Deadpool 3 updates.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Wolverine is going to be in the classic blue and yellow costume.
I'm pumped.
Ryan Reynolds posted a picture of Deadpool and Wolverine together with Hugh Jackman and the classic costume. It looks great. He needs to lose the sleeves at some point, but other than that, he looks great. And then they also confirmed, I guess in line with that, they showed some behind the scenes fight choreography, kind of stunt work going on of Deadpool and Wolverine fighting at what looks like to be like the remains of 20th Century Fox. Like
they're on the logo. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a huge logo that's like destroyed and on the ground, and they're fighting on the remains of it, which makes me and a lot of people on the internet think that maybe they're doing kind of a like Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe, which would be kind of like based on a Deadpool kills the Marvel universe comic book. But the other news was that Jennifer Garner has been confirmed to be returning as Elektra in the movie, which makes me think that those Ben Affleck rumors
are probably true. Yeah,
probably true, and that he's going to be back as Daredevil since they were in the same movie universe and in the same movie. Which also makes me say, put Tom Jane Punisher in this movie.
Yeah, why not? Who owns that one?
I believe it was Fox that owned that, but I could be wrong. Either way, I would love to see that, even if
I would too.
It's a moment. But so
I'm super excited for that movie. I don't want to know too much more, but goddamn, I can't wait.
Deadpool 3 is going to be rad.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
If they, as long as, man, I don't know. We'll talk about this too with Secret Invasion, but I'm more and more getting to a place where I'm starting to not trust everything that Marvel puts out. I am excited for Deadpool 3, but I just hope they don't fuck it up. So
I agree. I agree. Yeah, we're definitely diving into that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Maybe, just maybe. That was a great segue. Should we jump into the formation?
Yeah, and here, here's our new formation thing here.
Fall in.
You fall out in that street, I'm gonna kick your ass right off this fucking planet.
Formation.
That was fantastic theme music. I don't know how we could have a better intro than that right there. Just incredible.
Chubbed up.
Yeah. I could run through a brick wall right now. Anyways, Secret Invasion. So that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
This is a topic that we've been kicking around for a long time about when is going to be the point where Marvel loses us. And I think we're pretty close. Pretty close.
Well, and if you've listened to the show at all, we've been excited for this.
Yeah.
That's my thing too. Like I watched the whole series again the other day in preparation for this, and I was excited for the finale. So it must have lost me somewhere during the finale that I'm just like, no.
Yeah, leading up to the finale, everything was great. I was feeling it. There were a couple episodes
I had my problems with it, but I was excited for it. I couldn't wait for the finale, and then
they set it up really nice. Yeah,
fell flat.
But yeah, we'll get into it.
We could just go episode by episode. Let's start with episode 1. We get Fury comes down from the Saber space station. He's back on Earth, and I guess before that we have the introduction with Ross, with Everett Ross.
Yep,
and he's doing some spy shit. He meets with an agent Prescott, and Prescott is telling him about his theory that Skrulls are on Earth, and they're inciting all these political turmoil. They're inciting by basically committing these terrorist acts under the guise of being from this country or shape-shifting, and like putting all these countries at odds so that they can, destabilize the world and take over, is what he's theorizing. And Ross is telling him he's a nutbag, and tells him that he's going to take his evidence to Fury to, see what Fury thinks about it. And that must just be the hint hint to Prescott that Everett is not who he says he is, and he attacks him, and then Ross kills him. But then through a series of a chase sequence with Maria Hill and whatnot, he falls off a building and dies, and we find out he was a Skrull.
He's fucking a Skrull.
Which begs the question, how long has he been a Skrull? Was he a Skrull in Black Panther 2? Was he been a Skrull this whole time? He's not a character that'd be impossible for, so I don't know. We'll find out. They do. I guess they don't really answer that at all, but they do kind of bring it back up in the finale there a little bit. But so once that's over, we have Fury meets with Maria Hill. She tells him that he's a lot different since the blip.
I'm gonna jump in there real quick because the Ross thing in the timeline, which all these characters later on that we find out are Skrulls, that's the question for all of them. At least one of the questions, like when did it happen?
Yeah.
Right. So
when did they get taken over?
If you've seen Black Panther 2, which didn't love it, but that's a topic for another day. Right. There's a scene where Ross meets with his estranged or ex-wife, who turns out to be Julia Louis-Dreyfus character, Val, whatever. And they're divorced, or they're at least separated, maybe getting divorced. Right. So that question is, one, does Ross even know T'Challa? Like, did the whole Black Panther thing was he a Skrull then? And if he wasn't, and then he ends up getting divorced from Val, like, was it the Skrulls' fault that they got divorced? Like,
right? Does he think he's still married? Yeah,
right. Like,
yeah, you come out of this and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go see eye to my wife. And
like potentially that could be a great scene in Thunderbolts where he goes home to his wife and she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Why is your dick out?
Don't you touch me.
I divorced your ass. Like,
exactly.
Nope, no, you
Keep
sure
your
didn't.
pants on.
I also have radiation poisoning and I'm dying, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that.
Sorry, I interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. It's good. So she meets Maria Hill and Fury meet, and they have a little moment, and she's like, Nick, you're real different since the blip. You've been in space this whole time. You're not the same. You're not thinking ahead like, the Nick Fury I know. Okay. Oh yeah, there's hints there that he's being watched by Skrulls like the whole time, that he's moving through Russia or Moscow. Then he meets with, or maybe he's in the UK, I guess at that point, but he ends up getting kidnapped by MI6 agents and meets with their top guy there, Nick Fury, whose name is Sonya Fallsworth.
Badass.
Yeah,
loved her character.
Loved that character.
Yeah,
I liked her. Fallsworth is also the name of one of the Howling Commandos, the British Howling Commando from Cap 1. So probably some sort of relation there, because they did the same with the principal from Spider-Man
Homecoming,
Far From Home, or Homecoming. Or he's a descendant of one of them. But she's like, hey, Nick, you haven't been the same since the blip, sort of thing. And so he plants a bug in her office to keep gathering intel about this whole Skrull thing and moves on. Then he meets with Talos, or however it's pronounced. And he learns that Talos he's no longer on the Skrull Council. And we learn that his wife was killed by rebels. And that the rebels, who are led by Gravik, plan to bomb a heavily populated square on a Unity Day event in Russia. And so we see them meet with Gaia, who is Talos' daughter, who's been working with the rebels.
Who's Emilia Clarke.
Who is played by Emilia Clarke. Mm-hmm. And he is Talos is obviously unhappy that she is working with the rebels.
And
he has
Ben
a much
Mendelsohn,
more-
if we didn't say that.
Yes,
Talos
is
has
Talos,
been-
as he was in Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Where he was introduced. And he has a much more cooperative idea of working with humans. You know, he wants to. He's basically on the side of integrating Skrulls into the human population versus let's take over the Earth and make it new Skrullos, their new planet. And the rebels are, we want this planet for ourselves. We want home in our own skin. We want to make this our old planet in this new place. So, but they work with Gaia to try and stop the bombing that the rebels get to, and they are not successful. And Gravik and his men end up bombing this square, killing a bunch of people.
Oh yeah,
and inciting a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, not even a little bomb, a huge bomb.
Yeah,
well, several bombs too. They said what, like how many thousand people?
Yeah, I can't remember how many thousands die, but
a lot.
While they're there, you like prior to the bombing, you can see that Gravik is kind of toying with, and he's played by Kingsley Benadir, who's also in Barbie actually as one of the Kens. But anyway, you can see that Gravik has kind of been toying with Fury, like since he came back to Earth. It seems like he's been the one who's watching him. You see him kind of repeat a form of a small child that we saw earlier in the episode, and so we get this idea that he's been watching him this whole time. And then we get to kind of the big mic drop of the episode where Nick Fury goes to help Maria Hill up from the bombing, or goes to help her do whatever she's doing, and she turns, and then Nick Fury shoots her in the gut, and then we see that there's two Nick Furies, and then we realize that Gravik has impersonated Fury and killed Maria Hill. And yeah, it's permanent. She's dead. She's out of the MCU.
She's gone.
So,
she's gone. Yeah.
That sucks. I liked Colby Smulders. I liked Maria Hill, but I don't think necessarily that she wanted to keep doing this forever.
Yeah, I'm sure making that Marvel money really, really fucking sucks.
Well, actors, they're
They don't want to get
sensitive.
paid.
They don't want to be typecast, and they don't want to get stuck in a role forever. But this also leads to some problems further down the line, because there's surveillance and there's evidence of Nick Fury killing Maria Hill.
Yep.
That comes up later. But what did you guys think about this episode in general?
I loved the first episode. It's set up to be everything that I'd hoped it was gonna be. I thought they nailed the spy thriller feel with still being super sweaty nerdy with MCU stuff. But again, it also felt like they were rewarding me for investing all this, the last decade plus into their movies, like knowing all the characters and knowing the backstory of this and that. And again, I couldn't wait to see what happened next. I loved the first episode. I think my biggest positive takeaway of the entire the show as a whole was the casting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have my feelings about certain things, but everybody was great in their particular role. Maybe the best Ben Mendelsohn we've seen yet, and that's saying a lot because he's great. Mm-hmm. But he was fantastic. Gravik was really good. Sonya Fallsworth was great, and Samuel Jackson. This was the most Fury we've seen out of him, and it was He didn't disappoint. The one that I thought she was still good, but I don't think it was her best work, was Emilia Clarke, and I don't necessarily think that's her fault. But her performance wasn't the best out of everyone, in my opinion.
Well, I
So
mean,
there was
she doesn't have the "I'm gonna fuck you up and kill you," role, but she still.
I mean, she kind of did for most of the series. She was just a badass. I mean, things happen, and her motivation changes. But like the first couple episodes, she's essentially Gravik's enforcer. He's like his top lieutenant.
See, and I don't have the comparison to Game of Thrones. So
she's really.
I thought she was good. I enjoy her, but
I mean, it's better than that Terminator she was in, I guess. But
a couple of other notes that I had about the episode were just like I thought I agreed. I liked it. I thought it was a good introduction to the problem of the series. Like, we don't know who we can trust. Like seeing Fury get mimicked was like, okay, this is going to be. We can't even trust Nick Fury,
right?
As this goes, like, what perspective are we looking at things from? Unfortunately, they don't really follow through on that. There's not another moment where a good guy, that other than one we'll get to, is mimicked in a way that it like affects the plot,
right? But they did. There were points in this first episode where. Especially with Mariah Hill, of her saying like, "Oh, you're not the same to Fury. You haven't been the same since the snap or whatever."
Yeah,
they planted little seeds where it could be, oh shit, maybe Fury's a Skrull. Maybe this isn't even the real Fury yet.
Right.
And then of course that never happens. But whatever.
And then I noticed that the Skrulls also have the ability. I think it's in this episode that they have it's in this episode. So not only can they take someone's form, but they have the same technology from Captain Marvel where they can like read your memories essentially. And so that way they can download your memories and they're a more complete copy of who you are, which I guess kind of eliminates some of the cool like spy tactics necessarily.
Right.
Like they aren't necessarily like these great super spies. They're just like, they are you.
Right.
So
this brings up one of my points, and I can't think of a better time to bring it up, but like the Skrulls have this technology that not only can they travel through hyperspace essentially, they can also extract your memories and inner thoughts, because he extracts a passcode for a nuclear weapon later on.
Yeah.
And they also have a machine that can basically splice other people's DNA into you.
yeah.
But they have to carry Glocks. Apparently, they just the best weapons they have are made in Austria. I guess
Glocks and AKs. That's standard. Come on.
Yeah, 40s and 9s, my favorite store.
It also makes me think that like this is another problem for the MCU that the multiverse prevents. Like, we could just bring back anybody we wanted.
Yeah.
If you can download anybody's memories and you can splice anyone's DNA into you and become that person, like, then just bring back whoever.
Yeah.
Bring back Black Widow, bring back Tony Stark, bring back whoever. It doesn't matter.
Didn't Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr. actually say he was coming back? I could have swore I heard something about him coming
There's
back.
been some rumors about it, and I think it was in one of the upcoming movies where he might have filmed something, but they're not saying he's coming back. It might be like more of like a cameo type of thing, is the way I took it.
Well,
but
then an easy way to fix, like, retcon him back in is the Robbie or the Iron Man that did the snap and reverted everything was a Skrull.
I think people would fucking riot.
Yeah.
I would fucking riot.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah.
Because that would mean his entire
writing.
character arc was dog shit.
Right.
So.
I Love You 3000 would no longer mean the same.
Episode 2, do you guys have any thought? This is Promises. This is where we kind of learn the Skrulls have assumed identities of like the UK Prime Minister, the NATO Secretary General, a famous news pundit,
Yeah, and there's
Shooter
like a
McGavin.
million. Yeah, there's a million
Yeah.
plus on the
We
planet.
found out Talos basically allowed or called all the million scrolls like, hey, this Earth place ain't bad. Come on in.
So this is the train scene, right?
yes.
Where
yeah.
they play the game. Tell me something I don't know, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it just me, or is Talos, however you say it, is his argument exactly the same as Gravik's?
In what way? Explain it.
Fury, you abandoned us.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
they both say the exact same thing. Obviously, Talos still remains loyal to Fury.
Yeah.
But he lied to him. He didn't, and I mean,
Well, it shows-
you
it shows
would
the
say
measure of
just
the
as I would
character.
that withholding the truth is still lying. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it shows what a lie can do to a person. Okay, you can either accept the lie and you're like, okay, that sucks, let's move on, or you can you hate, you don't accept the lie and you end up just hating the person.
But
So,
see, I think there's a very thin line here of this is either genius writing where they make it so what we talked about a couple episodes back about, one bad day, one big incident can turn us either way, right?
Yep.
And that's just how life works. So this could be brilliant writing of this is the same, or it's a different side of the same coin where it's two people with the exact same theory, but executing it in a different way. Or it could be just super confusing and they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. And I'm not really sure which it is. I don't know.
I suspect that maybe this series was subject to some
Issues. Yeah.
editing
Yeah.
and some cutting of storylines and sideline stuff that resulted in maybe some confusion there. Because, I don't disagree. And I think that we'll talk about it later. But like the big issue, I guess, or now I'll just talk about it. The big issue is that Gravik is pissed because Fury promised, in exchange for your work as one of my spies, while you're doing that, I will find you a planet. I will find the Skrull refugees a planet to live on. And then just never does it. And then also, not only does he never do it, but never explains himself the entire series. There is no explanation as to why he didn't do it.
Don't you think that, and this is kind of going off on a different direction, but I can't imagine that Fury and Captain Marvel, once she's back and he sees her, because they're at the funeral together, right? At some point, they didn't have a conversation of, oh shit, I found this planet when we were looking for Thanos, and it's perfect. Like, everyone should want to live there. All the Skrulls could absolutely have it, but no, fuck those guys. Like, you mean to tell me in all the conversations that Fury had with Captain Marvel, not once did he mention, oh yeah, I told the Skrulls a long time ago that I was going to find a planet for them, and I really haven't even been looking. So,
so I think they could have gone an interesting direction with that and been maybe more comic book Nick Fury, where he's a lot more morally compromised. Like, MCU Nick Fury is just like blanket good guy. He's a good guy. But comic book Nick Fury's not he's a spy. He's not necessarily a politician, but he's he's what you would expect from somebody who's the leader of an intelligence agency. He's willing to do some shady things for maybe the greater good, maybe his own good, maybe the good of people he specifically likes. And maybe he made a false promise so that he would have an army of shape-shifting spies. And if that's the answer you want to give us, I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Play it out and play out the consequences of that.
But I
and
would
see where
want
it
the Nick
takes us.
Fury that would accept those consequences and be like,
Exactly.
yeah, I made this bet. I got to lay in it. So here we go.
I did it for the good of the human race.
Exactly.
And yada, yada,
And
whatever.
fuck
I'm
them
not a writer.
Skrulls.
Yeah, I'm not a writer, but he even says it in the train scene. He tells Talos, humans can't coexist with each other.
Right.
We've been
Yeah.
at war with each other since we could walk upright. There's not enough room here for both of us. So if they played that thought process out and said Nick was just using them, it's
Right.
terrible, but that's who he is and it's what he did, and maybe it makes the Skrulls actual bad guys now,
Right.
as opposed to a small rebel force being bad guys. It makes the Skrulls themselves start saying like, fuck it, we're taking this planet because we were betrayed by you fucks and we don't care. We're going to start impersonating heroes because we have the DNA. We're going to start doing everything.
That's brilliant because like now that I look back at that and I think about that speech, Fury told Talos all those things like, fuck all of you guys. I just use you. And Talos knows it because he tells it the same thing back. That was us. That was us. Every time you got promoted, that was us. And he's like, no, fuck you guys. I'm using you. Like, that's his villain origin story right there for Talos of like, oh, you know what? Gravik is right. Screw all of you. And
because
now
the Skrulls
all the
are
Skrulls
traditionally bad guys in the comics anyway.
Right.
Is like a comic book thing where you just make an entire planet of people bad guys. But like, if that's what they want to go, if they want to go that direction, and maybe if they wanted to stray away from the multiverse a little bit, this could still be a really big problem. So they could go this direction. But
that story sounds more intriguing to me too. Like, let's make them all bad. Like,
okay. However, all right. I have to interject a question here. Okay. The Skrulls have infiltrated all levels of government, right?
Seems that way.
Okay. Skrulls have all knowledge of the superheroes and everything that they've been doing, right?
Seems that way.
Okay. Why didn't the Skrulls just move themselves?
What do you mean?
Like, they have the ability, they have the powers, they have the resources, they have everything. Why don't they
find the planet on their own?
Find a planet on their own.
I mean, they should be more adept in space travel than us who've only gone to the moon.
I mean, that's like the biggest like plot hole I can find in this whole series is like, okay, yes, you guys, you've been sucking on this teat from Nick Fury about this lie here for so many years that, you know, this is what you want. You know, you want the humans to find you this planet. But you have all of the stuff that you can do it on your own. You literally have superhero powers now. And and Captain Marvel, you can use her powers and fucking fly off and go find a planet. Then fucking infiltrate Saber somehow and get that teleport technology. And then boom, then you got your own planet.
I can't think of a good answer for that other than that it would blow up the series. So,
I mean,
like...
Yeah,
I'm just objective.
No, I agree.
No, it's a great point. Like, the more I talk about this, the more issues I have with the show. But
but I mean, barring that, yeah, okay, I got you.
I'll just mention a couple other things on episode 2. But Gravik gets appointed as the Skrull General by the Skrull Council. We find out that Gravik is experimenting with powered DNA. The 4 DNA samples that he has access to at this point are Flora Colossus, which is Groot, Cull Obsidian from Thanos' Black Order, a Frost Beast from Jotunheim, and the Extremis Serum from Iron Man 3. We find out that Fury is married to a Skrull. Which is interesting take on that line from Winter Soldier where he shows up in Cap's apartment and says, "My wife kicked me out."
Right.
He's kind of not lying, but and then we also find out, or we have the probably my favorite scene or interaction of the whole show, which is between Fury and Rhodey, where Rhodey fires Nick Fury. They have this great talk about, you know, being like black men in position of power and how difficult that is to attain, and they have this amazing like banter back and forth, and Rhodey fires Nick Fury, and Nick Fury gives the classic, you know, even when I'm out, I'm in sort of speech.
I'm Nick Fury, bitch.
Yeah, breaks a dude's arm and then bounces. So that was probably and we talked about this the last time because this episode was out, but that's probably my favorite. Now having seen the whole series, favorite scene in the whole show.
The only thing I got to add to that is that again, the Skrulls with their advanced technology but they're storing this sophisticated superhero DNA data on a dot matrix computer.
It's a green screen. Yeah.
Their ships, they got holograms and shit, but we're like, oh, we're in Russia, so we got to use this. This is the best we got.
That's how we show they're inferior.
Dial-up internet. It's fucking weird.
So then we get to the third episode, Betrayed. Gravik, basically, he straight up says, I'm making super scrolls. He says the words. They send some Skrull terrorists to infiltrate a Royal Navy sub that has nuclear missiles, and their plan is to fire it at a UN aircraft as part of their, sow seeds of war across the Earth sort of thing. So Fury and Talos go to the Commodore's house, who's in charge of that sub, so they can try and figure out this abort code and get this missile stopped. And while they're waiting there, Talos basically undermines everything Nick Fury's ever done in his career that we've seen, and tells him that he's responsible for all of his success as a spy, calls Fury a bench-warming nobody, and who didn't start rising in the ranks until he had this whole Skrull spy network doing things for him. And I hated that. I fucking hated it.
Well, the lead into that was Talos talking about how the relationship between humans and dogs is ridiculous because one of them just picks up the other shit. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you, Talos. Yeah. You don't like dogs? All right. And then they argue about
from an alien perspective being like, this is weird, but...
Well, yeah, nobody likes picking up shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I hated that moment because it, like I said, it just undermines everything we've seen from Nick Fury. And it's like, so why is this guy a force to be reckoned with? Like, why do we give a shit about Nick Fury if it's all just been the Skrulls? Like,
right. No, that's fair.
But anyway, they go in there, they find out this Commodore is also a Skrull, or they confront him on it. They call Gaia, and because this guy starts talking shit about Gaia, so Talos just fucking caps him before they get the abort code. So
which Talos gets super pissed because Fury like shot him in the leg or something first. He's like, "You monster!" And they're like, "What did you say about my dog?"
Yeah. So then he calls Gaia and is like, "I need the abort code from this Commodore, whatever the fuck, Bob is what his name is." But so she goes to his actual body, sorts through his memories, finds the abort code, gives it to him, and she's outed as a double agent and met by Gravik as she tries to escape, and she's shot and killed or left for dead. And I immediately knew it was not legit.
Right.
100%. I was just like, nope.
I saw that and I was like, they fucking kill Amelia Clark. That's like, what? Yeah. That's a huge name to kill. Like, she got to come back.
But I'm going to back you up for a second. We'll go back to the Commodore's passcode. Don't you think the IT guys at MI6 were like, your fucking son's name? No.
Yeah. Nope.
No.
No.
You got to use at least a capital letter and a number.
Yeah. There's got to be like some sort of Greek letter in it. So
right?
Something.
Yeah. You can't use that password. You've already used it.
No.
That's also your password for your email. You can't do that.
It's like, that's something an idiot would put on their luggage.
Yeah, exactly. And then the episode ends with Vara, Nick Fury's wife.
Oh, yes.
On the phone with somebody ordering her to meet him, and it's very clearly Rhodey.
Yeah, let's be honest. It was obviously Rhodey.
100% Don Cheadle's voice, so everybody's been suspecting that Rhodey would be a Skrull for, since fucking forever.
Yeah, day one.
And that seemingly proved it. And then we start episode 4, Beloved, with an official reveal that Rhodey is a Skrull, and he's a lady Skrull named Rava.
That was one of my biggest takeaways from the show that started to lead me the other way. Because like I said, I was still excited for every episode, but the Rhodey reveal that he was a Skrull was fucking weak to me. Just him getting out of the shower and he's a Skrull, and I'm like, that's the best we can do. I did not like that. With all the buildup and the tension there was, is he, isn't he? And then it's just like, yeah, he just gets out of the shower and he's a Skrull.
Yeah, I definitely think it could have been done better. But Yeah, I don't know. It was very underwhelming. I'll
Yeah.
agree.
And then you have the meetup with Fury calling him out, basically saying, "I know you're a Skrull, but I'm going to play nice."
I feel like Fury was playing the card that he didn't know he was a Skrull. He was projecting that he didn't know he was a Skrull, but obviously he did because he gave him the nano tracker or whatever.
Yeah, he's trying to get that liquid tracker into him so that he can see where they go.
I don't think Rhodey got the impression that he knew he was a Skrull at that point. That's my thought.
Maybe I said it wrong. Yeah,
I don't think he did say, "I know you're a Skrull." I think he said like there's Skrulls in the government, so leading Rhodey to believe that Fury's close. He just doesn't know who.
Yeah. So Rhodey and Vara meet, and Rhodey orders Vara, who again is Nick Fury's wife, to kill him, or she'll be killed. And then Fury, who was listening to this conversation, eavesdropping through her phone, it seems, I don't know, confronts his wife, and they blow each other's eardrums out because they shoot a gun like as close as 3 feet away from each other across the table, and they shoot a bullet like right next to each other's head.
I did like the poetry tie-in though. I mean, you started off that episode with like some weird like poetry meetup. You're like, oh, stupid stuff. But then, like, you have the meeting. It's like, okay, that makes sense. I kind of like that. I
love that stupid lovey-dovey.
Yeah, stupid.
They put it there.
Stupid.
Did you get everything you wanted now? Even so,
my beloved. Fuck off. Stupid.
Yeah.
But so then we get to kind of the action piece where Gravik and his Skrulls, posing as Russians, attack the presidential motorcade. After Rhodey calls him and is like, "Hey, Citadel,
blow us up."
Is the code name for the president, is in this car in the motorcade." So then Talos and Fury show up, and they get a couple of guns out of their trunk, and they do some really lackluster fucking action shit, which just I like Samuel Jackson. He's great as Nick Fury, but seeing him hold a gun just made me fucking cringe. Like, it's so bad. And he's just shooting a fucking pistol grips, like, short shotgun from the hip. And just...
Well, blanks don't have a lot of kicks, so,
Yeah. I know, but, like, it also, like, I'm not quite sure of the plan with Gravik, because he had to assume that, like, the Secret Service TAC team is at least going to get a couple shots on you Russians. And what happens when Skrulls die in their human form? They revert to alien form. So isn't everyone going to know it wasn't the Russians immediately? Like, wouldn't that be as big as the new... Maybe it's just like the same for us knowing aliens exist now. We're just kind of like, whatever.
Well, I mean, maybe the plan was like just like totally like just wipe them all out and frame the Russians. So even if they did get killed, there'd be no survivors.
They just take the bodies.
I mean, that's kind of what I got from that scene anyway.
Maybe that makes sense. That could be it.
But I agree with
Nick
your
Fury
point.
Comes in and throws a whole wrench in the thing.
I agree with your point though. Like, there's a high likelihood at least one of them's getting marked, right? Like.
Right.
Yeah. These don't have time to disguise the body in the moment.
Yeah. Because you could have just that helicopter that came in and shot like 3 missiles.
Right.
How about it just keeps circling and shoots more missiles until it blows up everybody?
And why do we have to like give him a gut shot or something? Why can't we just blow up the truck?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, president's dead. You can still blame it on the Russians.
Yeah.
But
then Talos has to like try to break the window.
Like, Talos is trying to break the 5-inch thick fucking presidential, and he gets shot, and so he's like half Skrull, half human, trying to keep his form.
Kind of strokey, like
Which
you and Mitch McConnell,
like from an effects and makeup standpoint, I thought looked really cool.
No, I agree. They did a good job.
I thought they did a great job with that part of it. I think that's probably the best some of the Skrull effects and makeup has looked, because a lot of it has been, it's a TV budget, so it's been hid by cuts, and it's been behind glass and through the fog when he's wiping the mirror, sort of transformation stuff. But so that was really cool. And then Gravik poses as a friendly soldier to help Talos after he rescues the president and fucking stabs him in the heart right in front of Nick Fury. And Nick retaliates and shoots him in the head, and then we
The
see
cheek, yeah.
the extremist. The extremist heals him. He also shows that he has the Groot abilities
Mhm.
Yeah.
in this fight. So yeah, that was my episode 4 shit. The
Yeah.
action shit just made me cringe though with Nick Fury. Like,
Yeah. I'm
just get your hand up on the backstrap of that gun just a
a
little
little
bit.
high
man.
index there, sir.
Like, Jesus. Then we get to episode 5, which is the penultimate episode. Gravik's failed assassination attempt and like the tactics that he's willing to use, I guess, leads to like a mutiny.
Yeah.
And several of
And he straight
his
up
Skrull
just
buddies.
kills them all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he-
we
they
left
try
out
and-
too, though, that Amelia Clark's Gaia. Sorry, Gaia. She did the Super Scroll thing to herself.
yeah.
Oh yes,
So she has
she's alive.
she has at that point at least the extremis
Yes.
power, and they never really clarify if she had anything else up to that point,
I
right?
think that's probably all she had at that point.
I mean,
but
that's
it
smart
doesn't
on
really
her
matter.
part because she, can't die with that.
Yeah, that's some
So
clairvoyancy right there. Like, you know what? I'm gonna need to be able to.
She's like, I saw
survive a
Iron Man
gunshot."
3.
Yeah,
I need that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Also, like the Skrulls perfected all of that because it kept killing people in
Right.
Iron Man 3. But that's fine, whatever.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is find the one that it didn't. Like,
Well, maybe since they can survive radiation, maybe that's part of
maybe.
like,
Yeah.
like their way to like absorb
Sort of
it.
tie there.
Yeah.
yeah, it's lazy writing. It's fine.
Yep, we get to episode 5. Like I said, the attack on President Ritson failed, so there's a mutiny, and
That was a great scene, by the way.
they try and
loved
kill.
that.
I liked the concept of it. Like they try and suffocate him, which I think would probably be like the only way that with extremists that you could probably
Right.
kill somebody would be like to take away their oxygen supply so it can't work
Yeah,
anymore,
you can't,
or like destroy
heal.
the heart. But he wrecks shop. He fucking, it's the first time we really see him in scroll form, and he just destroys everybody. And he sets himself up as like really just a straight up evil dude. Like, you all thought you had a voice, and like, I'm fucking in charge here. Like, fuck all you. And then we see Gaia have a funeral for Talos and send him off. So he's really gone. Fury meets with Gaia, and she reveals that what Gravik has been looking for is what he calls the Harvest, which is the name of the episode. And we learn that the Harvest is DNA from all the Avengers and every superpowered person that Nick Fury could get a hand on from. He says it's from the Battle of Earth, where a lot of heroes spilled blood. But later we see that there's a lot of DNA included in there that was not at the Battle of Earth.
Like all of Thanos' people and ghosts.
Which the Battle of Earth is, I think in this context, refers to the Endgame battle where Thanos brought all of his Chitauri forces, the Black Order, all of them, and then Doctor Strange brought everybody through the portals, that whole battle there. So just for clarity's sake. But so we learn that Nick Fury does in fact have that. He also has Captain Marvel's DNA, which I don't remember seeing her bleed at any point in there. But I don't think she's
maybe when she busted through the ship.
capable of it.
Yeah.
She took one right in the kisser when he just used the Power Stone, though. Maybe
Maybe that was it.
all that for a drop of blood.
Yeah. Maybe that was it. But anyway, so he reveals that he has it and it's hidden in his gravestone, which he has many of, one of which is in Finland. And then we see him put on the patch, the eye patch, and he calls somebody and says, "Let's finish this." And it's supposed to be mysterious. And people were like, "Oh my God, who's he calling? Is it going to be Captain Marvel? Is it going to be somebody?" And I was like, "No, it's fucking Gaia." Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
100%
I don't care.
Gaia.
Like,
Who can pretend to be him for a little bit?
yeah, I was like, it's a scroll. It's fucking somebody who's going to. The only thought was that maybe Talos faked his death.
Right, I agree.
Even didn't tell his daughter so that he could come back for this moment. Which I don't know if I would have liked better or not, but that was my only other. I was like, maybe that's what they're doing here, because it seems kind of odd that we just stopped to have this funeral moment in the episode, but it's fine.
By the way, the weapons cache moment where Fury goes to Finland, and is this like his last one? Is he like tapped out? I mean, it's got the harvest in it, but like, here's this giant tomb that he opens, and there's just a Glock and one magazine. Yeah. That's the only thing, and an eye patch. Yeah, that's all I got.
I just don't think MCU writers know that a pistol is just to fight to your rifle.
Exactly.
You need more than that.
Like
buddy.
this isn't gonna cut it.
The back of his fucking Range Rover in the previous episode, had a fucking rocket launcher in it.
Yeah,
like, come on, man. Where's your Chitauri weapons? Where's your Tesseract weapons that you had in the Avengers?
But like, they peaked their technology with air conditioning, because that's the only thing that stayed operational during that fight. So
yeah, he had a lightsaber in Winter Soldier, basically.
Yeah,
that cut through like 18 inches of solid concrete in like 2 seconds.
And a car. So,
yeah. So whatever. But anyway, that's pretty much everything in that episode. I don't remember there being anything stand out. And then we have the finale. Home is the name of this episode, and
the finale, which I might add, has the lowest rating in all of the MCU TV shows on Rotten Tomatoes, with a whopping 13%. Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. And I think Secret Invasion as a whole, as a result, is pretty low, if not the lowest.
You know what? I have to agree that I enjoyed the show 1 through 5. I was still excited for the finale, and I can't even say it was the entire finale, but I think the point where I can just say you lost me was the fight, the Super Skrull fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let me pull up my notes here. Just a brief overview, basically. Fury meets with Gravik at New Skrullos, and he's dying of the radiation poisoning, and Gravik gives him this big speech about how he betrayed him and why that's he's gonna fucking burn the earth to the ground.
It was a great moment too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and then it means nothing because he's not saying it's Nick Fury.
Yeah, it's saying to Gaia. Yeah.
And Nick says some kind of pointed line about, you've been out there running around using my skin as a costume, as Gaia is doing the same thing.
Right.
It's not really Nick saying it, so also stupid. But anyway, because there was also a great moment where Nick is like, maybe that more morally compromised Nick Fury, like I said, where he's like, I'll give you the harvest if you just get the fuck off Earth. Use it to go wipe out some other species on some other planet. I don't give a damn. Go do it somewhere else. Just leave us alone in exchange for this. Which is like, if that was really Nick Fury, that would be like what I said. Like,
he'd do that.
Holy shit. Like, yeah. Is he that? Does he really not give a shit about anybody else that much to just protect the human race? Okay, like I'm into it for the morally compromised character that is doing whatever he can. Like I'm okay with that direction, but it's not. It's just Gaia, and it's just a fucking trick so that she can get all the same superpowers as Gravik in their little machine.
Yeah, I mean, like, how much of an oversight of Gravik though? Like, even if he had to have some kind of inkling that it could have been another Skrull sin against him. Like, that's like, if he's like the super smart, like, bad dude, you're thinking of all things, right?
He's been a spy for Nick Fury for 30 years.
It's like the
oldest,
it's like the oldest like bait and switch in the book, right? I'm going to use a spy. I'm going to use a fake impersonation here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to get through this, and then I'm going to talk about the problems that I have with this series, and that's one of them. But basically, Gaia and Gravik, they both get all the powers of all the Avengers that we've ever seen, and all the bad guys that we've ever seen, including Captain Marvel, Thanos, the Hulk, everyone. Everyone.
The one thing that we didn't see, and I don't know how you would have done it, and it could have been something as simple as, because we didn't see Steve Rogers, right?
No, he's on there.
As what? What does he
Captain
do?
America.
Right, but what does she do that?
That's where she stops the hand, right?
There's no how do you
Simple.
show
You get knocked down and he gets up and he goes, I can do this all day. Like that's all you gotta
that
do.
has nothing to do with your DNA.
No,
That's
no,
a
they
fucking
do a
lie.
shot. They do a shot of her ass. Like that's America's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think that
I
works.
think that
No.
there's no way to show his power when you also have the Hulk strength in the
Right.
same.
But if she would have
So-
done that, that would have been a cool nod, I think.
I don't know. I think whatever.
Anything is better than what we got, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
So they get all the powers of everybody, including like Ghost from Ant-Man, stuff like that. The Abomination, who was not at the Battle of Earth,
No.
neither was Ghost. Neither were
But he was on house arrest or probation.
so
Like,
maybe they
yeah.
took his DNA as a result of that. But
yeah.
and she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe that was where they got hers. But they fight, and at the same time they're fighting, Nick Fury and Sonya Fallsworth are taking out Secret Service members in the hospital to get to Rhodey and to President Ritson. And they get to a point where Sonya has got fucking Rhodey, gun to his head, and Fury's standing there, and President Ritson has a gun on Fury, and they're trying to convince him, hey, don't go nuke this place in Russia where all the Skrulls are, because you're going to start World War III, and it's going to be bad. And Rhodey's just like, no, I'm not a Skrull. No, I'm not a Skrull. No, I'm not a Skrull. Fuck it. I'm going to
I'm
try
a
and take
Skrull.
your gun for some reason so that you can shoot me and prove that I'm a Skrull. Right then and there, purple blood splatters out of the back of his head, and he's like, okay, done.
Well, everything leading up to that, though, Rhodey, air quotes, is just like pushing Russia hard on the president. Like if I was the president and I just woke up from like being attacked, and one of my top advisors like it was Russia, it was Russia, it was Russia, it was Russia, over and over. I'm not even exaggerating. It was like that many times that quickly. I would have been like, okay, so it's definitely not Russia. Anybody else?
He's like also telling like I can't remember. She's like some admiral or
Yeah,
some
she's like
other
the joint chief of staff or something like
he's
that.
like, what did you take stupid pills this morning or something? And it's like
he's
a colonel? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's a colonel.
Yeah.
She's an admiral, which is basically a general in that hierarchy. Okay, excuse you, shut the fuck up, Colonel.
You're dishonorably discharged. Goodbye.
Get out of here.
Go
Shut
fuck
your
yourself.
face.
But also,
Go get me my stupid pills.
okay. So obviously, Rhodey's a Skrull, but wouldn't the president, and our friend Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne brought this up, wouldn't the president, knowing who he is, be like, I'm in danger. Hey, would you mind getting that super advanced power suit that can do anything and protect you? Protect it. Like, where's your war machine suit?
Where is that right now?
Is that?
Why are you wearing that all the time?
Like, I get that he doesn't have a nanotech suit, but you're telling me he doesn't have the same kind of Civil War tech where he can just call it down from a satellite and fucking put it on? Like,
You don't think
Come on.
Rhodey's got a nanotech suit by now? Come on.
no.
Sure.
But I don't know. Maybe he does. But either way, stupid. And then we cut back to the fight between Gaia and Gravik, and it's really bad. It's really boring, and there could have been a lot of cool, fun interactions and how these powers did this and how that other thing. And they do a couple of them.
appendages.
Yeah, that was really weird. Did you guys catch when she transforms one of her arms into Drax's arm?
Yeah.
And it looks like a tiny little baby arm on her. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
It's like they took a Batista arm and then scaled it down to fit Amelia Clark's arm.
You know what it looks like? Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they're handing out the bicep flyers?
Yes. It looks like a dick.
Yes. Like
Just
that.
a
And I
bunch
was
of
like,
dudes coming over to party, you know?
yeah, I was like, holy fuck, this is bad. There was only a couple of good moments where I was like, this is at least a clever use of her powers, where she puts him to sleep when they're in midair.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yep.
And I was like, okay, at least because it seemed to me that he was just like, I'm going to use the strongest dudes. Like, I'm going to brute force this. So I was expecting her to be like, okay, I'm going to use some of the less brute force, more nuanced approaches. And she uses Ghost's abilities to kind of phase through a couple of attacks, which brings me to my question. Wasn't her power killing her, and the only way that she could use it appropriately was inside of a containment suit.
Right.
So I don't know how that works.
Plot of that movie.
The entire plot of that movie, and then she gets she needs constant radiation from the tiny zone, whatever it's called, the quantum realm.
That's the tiny zone now.
Tiny zone now.
Tiny zone.
Ant-Man and Tiny Zone Mania.
Yeah. So that was annoying, but anyway, it ends with her just Captain Marvel blasting him through the stomach.
Yeah.
Which would that kill him?
When the extremists
I don't know.
come back?
Wouldn't the extremists heal him? Would you be even able to do that to Captain Marvel? Because he has the Captain Marvel abilities.
Right.
So
And he's got Hulk abilities.
But my
So,
question too was as they're shifting through these different powers, do you have to be consciously aware this is the one I'm using, or do they all work all the time? Do you constantly have the extremists running through your system and you're fine, or do you have to say okay, I'm using this one now. I'm using my left arm Groot and my right arm is Drax, but or Groot.
Well, here's the answer to that question. The writers don't know.
Exactly.
And neither do the special effects artists. And neither do the special effects artists, which again, that's just their direction at the behest of the directors and the writers. But because you wouldn't it would be impossible to I'm gonna use Drax the Destroyer's left arm. Why? Why the fuck would you do that? First of all, if you want to use the strongest, just always be the Hulk.
Right.
Yeah. Always.
If you have the Rolodex of Avengers powers, I'm probably not going to Drax at any point.
No.
Yeah. He's just super
cool.
strong. Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah.
But
he has famously huge turds, but
and sensitive nipples. But
And
go to the Hulk.
and he can stand and be invisible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the Hulk and wreck shop.
Yeah.
And then when
combine that
he goes to
with
the
Captain
Hulk,
Marvel. Yeah.
do something else. I don't know. So it was a pretty boring fight, and I'm disappointed with the way it ended.
There was no build up to it. It just and now they're fighting. Yes, there was a build up to a confrontation with Gravik, but there wasn't Gaia is gonna beat him up. It was just and now they're fighting. It was such a boring fight that I was literally cruising my phone looking for guitar pedals, and they were fighting, and I was like, oh yeah, okay,
God, you're still going?
Yeah, they're fighting, and then it was done super fast too, and I'm like, oh, well, that was nothing.
And how did she he's had powers for much longer than her,
right? But she just
she just gets them, and then because she's pissed that he killed her mom and dad, she's like, I can do it. I can kill you because the plot demanded it.
Yeah,
it's just because the plot demanded it, and that's just lazy storytelling. But anyway, so after the fight, Ritson gives a presidential address where he's like, I'm pushing a bill through the U.S. Congress that
fuck them scrolls.
Any person born off world is an enemy to the United States, can be punished by death. We're gonna kill you all. It's so how about the Asgardians?
Yeah.
How about any other alien refugee on the planet? That's just okay, whatever. And at what point during the story of this entire show did they make it seem like that would be the reaction that Ritson would have to this?
I don't know.
Well, and then too, they're the reveal that there's scrolls, okay, on the planet. They made it seem oh god, there's aliens on the planet. You didn't know there were aliens on the planet.
One just tried to kill half of all existence.
Yeah,
earlier.
there was literally a battle that happened.
It's called the Battle of Earth.
Yeah, nobody remembered that. That dude. He doesn't count. He's not.
And then
alien.
remember in 2012 when they all came to.
Yeah, when they attacked New York. Yeah,
it's happened a couple of times. It's kind of bad.
And then, do you remember when the Earth was an egg and a giant celestial?
Oh yeah, there's this weird hand sticking out of somewhere in the southern hemisphere, and
it's just, to me, it was just this is not the lesson that character would have learned in this episode. He, for all intents and purposes, my understanding would be that he knows that Rhodey was a Skrull, and that scares him, right? That somebody was that close to him and influencing what he did. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's scary. But he also knows that a Skrull sacrificed his life to save him.
Right.
And that there are good ones, and that Nick Fury is telling him hey, like there's good Skrulls and they're all like not all bad guys. Like it's just like any other group of people.
Right.
Like, yes, there are bad ones. There are also good ones. It's just like human beings.
The only thing that I can think of why they set Ritson, or like basically painted him in that corner, is
to get rid of him.
We already know that Harrison Ford is coming back as Thunderbolt Ross, and he's going to be the president in the next Captain America movie. So maybe that's the final straw where people are like, hey, fuck this guy.
And that's fine. But what if you painted it the other way and had him be really accepting of the Skrulls and not have that reaction? Because it would have been more in line with his character that we really didn't. There was no character with what we think of him, and then people are like, because paranoia is so strong and so pervasive and like divisive, that people are like, no, we're not voting for you. We're voting for Ross because he's campaigning on this hardcore, war on all outside species sort of campaign, and that's why he gets
could that
elected.
possibly tie into the X-Men universe where they're absolutely against mutants because of
maybe
I mean that could be the tie-in.
Even in X-Men 2, the president is about to give the same speech where he's like, mutants are bad, and then they blip in and pause, and they're like, guess what, motherfucker, we're here. Get used to it. We're not going away. So you can either, deal with it, or you can go to war and we'll kill you, basically. And then he's like, yeah, you're right. These mutants are making a lot of sense. I'm okay with it.
Right.
And like, it just, I don't know. It just rang really hollow and weird with me.
So my biggest takeaway from the whole show, and I think it's why I'm not going to say I absolutely loved it up until the finale, but I really enjoyed it. It was intriguing. It wanted me to come back for more. I felt like it was trending upward, but I think the reason that the finale fell so short for me is because the question that I feel like the writers and the showrunners should have had an answer to before they got started was the question that they kept asking throughout the whole show: where are your special friends at? Why aren't you calling the Avengers for this?
Yeah.
And he kept saying, because it's personal. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It could be personal. Your wife's a Skrull. I get it. That's fine. But this is totally against everything that we know of Nick Fury. He told the council, whatever the hell they were called in the first Avengers movie, we need a response team. Yeah. I can't do this alone. And if I fail, I need them to save my ass. Nick Fury is the guy that has contingency plan upon contingency plan. He's got secret weapons caches all over the planet, probably the universe at this point.
Right.
And you're telling me that he's just going to get mad and go into a street fight with this like unstoppable enemy that has all the powers of all your special friends? It's like so un-Nick Fury that it killed the whole show for me. Like, yes, they did a great job of building mystery and intrigue throughout the first 5 episodes, and even parts of the 6th I was excited about. But man, as soon as that fight start, man, it was like a toilet just flushing and circling the drain. It was
that brings me to some of the problems that I just have generally with the show. Well, okay, quickly, the episode ends with the presidential address, and then it ends with Fallsworth meeting with Gaia and saying like, hey, you're going to want to work with me because I have the resources to help you and your peoples now that Ritson has declared war on the Skrulls, basically. And so she goes off with him, and then we end with the rescue of I guess it's before that, but we get all the Skrull captives rescued. So now they know everyone who was a Skrull, and we see Everett Ross, and we see Rhodey. Mm-hmm. And Rhodey is in a hospital gown, and his legs don't work. So that means he's been a Skrull since he was injured in Civil War.
Right.
Which means that all of the moments since Civil War, everything in Infinity War, all of the Endgame stuff, even Tony's death, crying as Tony dies with Pepper and Peter, and Tony's funeral, and the conversation with Sam and Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's all been a scroll.
Right.
And it also begs the question, if he was that good at impersonating Rhodey then, why did he become such a fucking transparent asshole in this series? Like,
yeah, that's a good
why
question.
did he turn on a fucking dime?
I don't know.
Probably pressure from Gravik.
I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
My only hope for Rhodey now is that if Armor Wars is still a thing, that they address it in some meaningful way. I mean, he has no idea about Thanos, about the blip, about Tony's death, about anything. He doesn't know shit. He doesn't know who fucking Peter Parker is. Like, he doesn't know anything.
The one thing you left out was, and not to go away from the Rhodey talk, I mean, we could be here all day about that. It was very disappointing, and they could have done one other thing to give us a clue of, oh, Endgame still meant something. It was this, you know? But you get a phone call from Fury to the president being like, well, that was a dick move.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
You're a jerk, big dumb jerk. And it was pointless. What was the point?
Yeah.
Who cares? Now Fury's still on the run because, he pissed off the president and basically said, I'm an ally to these Skrulls, but yet he's running away to a U.S. government-owned facility in space.
Yeah, but the president still is like, no, you can still work for me, though. Yeah, you just called me an asshole, but I'm going to let you work for me.
But then it turns into the huggy-feely thing of, love people for who they are and okay, whatever. That's fine. If that was the message from the beginning, they should have started it earlier. But the only thing that I guess I got two things here. So when you're talking about the reveal of all the hostages, I guess, lack of a better term, one of the hostages was the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't catch it until I watched it the second time. But after Ritson's speech, where he's like basically inciting vigilantes to go and handle these scrolls. If you see them, they show the Fox News show or whatever the hell it's supposed to be with Shooter McGavin, and they blow him away, and he turns out to be a scroll. Well, then somebody goes and shoots this British Prime Minister, and she doesn't turn because she was recovered. She's not a scroll. She was a scroll. She's not anymore. So now innocent people are dying because of this stupid speech that he gave.
Right. Yeah.
Which I saw someone talk about this. I think it was a channel called Nando V Movies, which is great. But it was like, it took them 6 episodes to be like, oh no, there's consequences to the Skrulls impersonating people. Right. Like, it took them till now to fucking display any of that.
Right.
Like, up until now, there has been none of that.
And it was a throwaway moment at the end of the finale.
Yeah. A throwaway moment that was stupid as fuck because some of those people, some of it was government hit squads going and killing Skrulls. Like, you're telling me that that's how we would really fucking do that? We would go on live television and send a bunch of dudes in to blow away a Fox
that one
News?
Felt more like sovereign citizen, like right-wing nut job to
I don't
me.
know, I guess. But, like, either way, it was just like, no, this is not how that would fucking happen. Like, we would, if we're going to assassinate them, then we're going to assassinate them. Like, it's going to be, like, secretive and done, like, I don't know, like the Osama bin Laden mission. And then you go and announce it to the people and be like, we got him.
We got him.
But whatever.
But then my second point was Fallsworth ends up cornering Gaia as she's just, chilling in England or wherever the fuck she is. Hey, how about you come work for me? I'm not a shitty human being like Nick Fury. You just come work for me. And essentially maybe laying the groundwork for Excalibur. Yeah. Which that was one like glimmer of hope in the episode that I don't want that, but if you got to do what you got to do to polish this turd, then do it. But I'm very disappointed. It's amazing how a series that I was so invested in one episode just shit the bed and killed like the whole thing for me. And
well, and like, what do they do with Gaia now?
yeah,
She can tank everyone and anyone she wants. She's stronger than Captain Marvel.
yeah,
She's, especially with what we've seen now in the Marvels, like their powers are all fucked up and they can't use them because they're entangled and they keep switching places and everything that they show in the trailer. She could fucking wreck shop if she wanted. Not that she would necessarily, but like, there's no.
Only thing I can think of is Doctor Strange. Maybe there's some magic that can counteract.
I guess, yeah, that's not in his DNA, like to learn skills.
But also like the Ebony Maw, his telekinesis, is that in his DNA? Like
apparently, it's a genetic trait.
But do we know that? Like I don't know. I was so disappointed. It was
so. That brings like just my thoughts on the show as a whole. Like for a spy thriller that they sold this as, and like the whole like concept behind this was like there are like no spy tropes in this show whatsoever.
I don't know.
Like,
I think in the first couple episodes there were, but they started to move away from it.
They did. He did the face mask.
Yeah, Mission Impossible style.
Sure. Yeah.
The veil or whatever.
But they made fun of it
it
though. It's like you got all that technology and all you can do is the face mask or the face.
Well,
He's like,
that-
well, this is version 2.1 or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
That just seems so dumb though in a movie or in a show where it's like people can literally shapeshift into you and take your memories. It's like, okay, that's some fucking bargain bin shit there. But like to me, my main problem with it in terms of like the spy aspect of it, right, was like everything we know about Nick Fury up till now is that he's like the most clever, most dangerous fucking human being on the planet, right? Like he is the ultimate spy, and he's the one who's been leading these Skrulls as spies for 30 years. And he never comes up with a way to figure out somebody's a Skrull
Right.
when they're acting like somebody else. And not only that, but nobody in the show can tell when somebody is acting off. Like people who have known, like by the book, James Rhodes his entire life, the guy who is a rule follower, the guy who, wants to sign the Sokovia Accords and all that sort of shit. They can't be like, you're kind of being a dick and acting real fucking weird, like all of a sudden out of nowhere, or you have for months or whatever.
Yeah,
like
what's with the attitude, bro?
Yeah, like I don't know. That was just odd to me. Like there was I was like there was never a moment, like in Inglourious Bastards where they're in the bar and he like does like 3 instead of like 3.
Right.
With his fingers, like he does the wrong fingers for counting, as he's a German. Like when he's pretending
he doesn't finger right.
Yeah, and exactly, it's bad at finger.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
But like it's just one, because like it would have worked for the Skrulls, right? Like they take your memories, but that doesn't mean that they know how to use everything that in your head.
Yeah, your mannerisms, your
right,
like
or
how
at
you
least
carry yourself. Yeah,
they could have sold it that way, I think. And there was no moments like that where it's like we see Fury like cleverly devise that someone is a Skrull. He does that, but he's just like, "Oh, I know you're a Skrull," and starts shooting them. And it's just like, well, I guess I don't know how you knew, but we didn't know, and it's kind of weird. So
I think there's a tie-in too, and maybe I'm reaching here, but like the end of Winter Soldier, he walks into that room when everybody thinks he's dead. Like Pierce thinks he's dead. And he walks in and he's like, if you're gonna stay ahead of me, you got to keep both eyes open. And he lifts up the eye patch and scans the other eye. Well, he doesn't have his eye patch on this one, so he's got both eyes open this whole series, but it's totally unlike Fury.
Yeah, and
I hate that. I hate it. He's the chess master. He's supposed to be so far ahead of everyone. It's like the Batman, he's supposed to be moves ahead of everyone, and he not once, maybe once in the first couple episodes he is, but after that, it's just like, eh.
So is it just me, or did the cat scratch scars get bigger and more pronounced?
They definitely got bigger.
Yeah,
Probably.
Like
Yeah.
this whole time, like the first time that we see him, like you don't see like scars on his face, but then like as it's like progressed through the series, like it's just been getting like more and more pronounced. And like this time, there were like 3 huge claw marks on his face. It was like seems a little excessive for a cat scratch.
So
It's an
another thing,
alien
like I
cat.
talked about, yeah, it is a flirkin. But another thing that, like I mentioned
Nerd.
before, I think there might have been some editing where they maybe had some problems with storylines and decided to change things. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a whole bunch of moments where Nick Fury is just wearing glasses, and it seems to be in situations like with certain characters and only at certain times when he's doing a certain thing. Like I thought that maybe the glasses, like, and I think it was New Rockstars that maybe brought this up, where they were saying that like the glasses were kind of like those Tony Stark Edith glasses,
For sure.
and that they're going to be able to like
Google Lens. Yeah.
yeah, they were going to be able to like help him read people or sense a scroll or something. I thought maybe there's going to be something like that. And because he's only wearing them in certain situations when he's questioning people intently and things like that.
Right.
But now, towards the end, and thinking about it more, I'm wondering if maybe there was supposed to be a track where we were seeing 2 different Furies.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it wasn't Fury, it was a scroll at some point, like interacting with other people as if he were Fury, whether that was to benefit or to, hurt Nick Fury. But it just felt like,
That brings up a fantastic point, though.
I don't know.
30 years he's working with Skrulls, and he's specifically using them to impersonate other people, to spy and do whatever. And you're telling me that he's got all these big brains working for him. They can build space stations that he can teleport to, but not one person can build a pair of glasses that can show him who a fucking Skrull is?
Right.
That's
That's what I'm saying.
that's
Like,
not Fury.
Tony Stark could have done it in a cave with a box of scraps.
Yeah.
To the guy from Christmas Story.
Yeah. Like, and I know that maybe that would be boring, that it's just like, oh, he can just tell. But
No, it's boring
do
that
it the
Nick
other
Fury's
way.
not
Maybe-
smarter.
Maybe they say, like, they could have mentioned that, and they could have said, no, the Skrulls, like, mimicry is just so complete, like, you just can't tell until you kill them.
Or they're getting out of the shower,
Yeah, or they're getting out of the shower. But then have Fury, who's this old school guy, right? He's been there since, before cell phones, before fucking anything, before all this technology, and he still got by. Have him develop a cool old school way of figuring this out, of like solving this problem. And they just don't. And I felt like a letdown to me. I don't know.
No, I agree. Like I said, the first 5 episodes, maybe we'll do that moving forward. We'll take a poll before the finale to see where we're at.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed it up until that point, but this one episode just kind of sunk everything for me. So
the director mentioned in an interview that he said, like, as the show develops, Fury kind of becomes this lone gunslinger. And so they were looking to like Westerns for inspiration and shit. And I was like, where the fuck was that?
What shitty Westerns were they watching? Because this was
like
terrible.
Like
I was like, there was
the only time I remember him
gunslinger
being like
shit.
gunslinger is when he's attacking the hospital, but that's with
A dart gun. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all off screen. And it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
like,
We don't see
like,
99% of it.
to me, like, if you're going to pay homage to like a lone gunslinger type thing, you're talking like the Mandalorian does, like a duel or a quick draw or some sort of trope like that.
Like the hospital scene at the end of Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah, that
something
was
like
fucking badass. Dude.
Yeah,
You saw the end of Last of Us,
No,
right?
I've watched one episode.
Dude.
Oh, you fucking idiot. Get to
Oh.
it. Jesus.
Well,
this show's
hey,
great.
guess what? There isn't going to be shit to watch for like a year and a half. So I'm the smart one. I saved the good shit. Okay.
I would watch that show fucking 10 times. It's
It
so
was so
good.
good.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's good to
anyway,
hear.
So what is our rating?
What is our super creative rating for this?
Yeah, what you got,
I'm
Duncan?
going to be pissed. I want to go first because I
Okay,
don't want
what-
anybody to steal
Go
my
ahead.
shit
Okay.
this time.
Okay, what's your rating?
Man, I have the scale.
Okay.
I just don't have the number because the fucking, like I said, 1 through 5, very good. 6, mailed it in. Just dog shit.
It's like a math test in high school, though. The 6th episode was weighted very heavily.
That's true.
Like,
I think
It's almost
because
like
of that,
Game of Thrones season 8.
I gotta give it a 1 out of 3. Drax Dick Invitation Arms.
I knew you
Yes.
would do it.
Thank you. How does it feel,
Nice.
baby?
Nice.
Yep, I fucking knew it.
All right.
Jimmy?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 random superhero powers. Yeah.
Okay.
It just it had the guts. It was going. It had me intrigued at the end of episode 3 where Gaia gets killed. That cliffhanger is like, okay, this is good. And then like the reveal of Rhodey, and then all that, and then like the relationship with Fury and his wife Vara, that was cool, but then it just fell apart. Yeah, so 4 out of 10 superhero powers.
I'm gonna go with my rating is the same as many eyes as Nick Fury has that works. It's just gonna be 1 out of 2. So 50%.
Yeah.
Keep
I
them
was
both
not-
open, though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just, yeah. The more it went on, the less I liked it, and the more I sit on it, the less I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And-
My opinion, I probably would have come in here with like, 50%.
Sure.
Just because of how much I hated the finale. But since we've been sitting here just going on and on about it, my rating is just plummeted. Like,
Yeah,
it
Realizing all of these plot
Yeah.
holes and everything that
Yeah, and I
how
think-
just lazy it was. Yeah.
I think the Rhodey reveal really just pisses me off too,
Yeah.
because it's just
it was weak.
some like great moments and like a really like solid character that was finally going to get his own show, and now it has to be sidelined by like, well, actually that was never him, and we don't even know this guy.
Right.
So okay, great.
No, I agree.
But-
And on top of that, to think back on, well, when did Rhodey not be Rhodey anymore? When did he get scrolled? Which New Rockstars was calling him Scrody, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
But when did he get scroted? Like, that changes so much for me. And especially with the reveal, like, think about all the great Rhodey moments that we've had. Was it after the accident in Civil War? Most likely.
That's
most
my
likely.
understanding. That's what the director has confirmed, or like he said, I think he's been a Skrull since after Civil War.
See, questions that don't have answers like that.
Oh, that's such a
Fucking
vague answer. Okay, so everything is after Civil War.
But
Okay, so how long then?
But it angers me. Like there's certain things, if you're gonna be a showrunner or a director on these properties, how deep nerds like us are gonna dig into them.
Yeah.
So you better have a fucking answer to that question, especially if it's essential to a character or the story. You better have an answer to that. And when
Yep.
they're like, nah, I don't know. Like, that
It
just
wouldn't
shows me you don't
surprise me.
care. This is a
It wouldn't
paycheck.
surprise me. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they try and retroactively change this and be like, oh no, he was just in a hospital gown because they were experimenting on him and whatever. And that was actually it's only been since after Tony's funeral. So
Or they see how poorly the series ends up getting rated at the end, and they're like, they add a scene at the beginning of the Marvels where Fury's like, oh god damn, I just had the weirdest fucking dream. Like, yeah, I can believe this shit. Rhodey's a Skrull.
What
I
is
do
a
think
Skrull?
this show will be swept under the rug as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling. And honestly, we've talked about it. We've hinted at it a lot. We've even talked about doing a whole episode on it, and I think we just did. But this might be the point where I've lost my faith in Marvel. Like, I'm still excited about a couple things that are down the road. But as far as the MCU as a whole goes, man, they need to take a hard left from what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed Moon Knight. I'm super excited for what the new Daredevil might be. But man, we've been taking
Loki 2.
Yeah.
Loki season 2.
And that's in flux too. Like,
well, that comes out in like 70 days.
Yeah, something like that. But still, like, what could that be all for naught because of what's going on with Jonathan Majors? Like, they're hurting in a bad way right now.
I saw that they were also considering delaying the Marvels, which makes me think that because Secret Invasion is doing so badly, that there's a lot of this that ties into that, and now they're like, fuck, we want to remove as much of Secret Invasion as we can from the zeitgeist, so now we have to reshoot this, but we can't because there's a fucking actor strike and a writer strike going on.
I'll be honest with you, the trailer for the Marvels looks entertaining. Like, had I not been beat down so many times, and like I said, it's so weird because we're how far removed from Guardians. We're only a couple months, behind that, and that was so good.
That was so good.
But we know that it has nothing to do with anything moving forward. Yeah. And like, man, I might be at that point where I'm like, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming, and that's just not me. Like,
I don't know. I think I'm like any other any loyal soldier here, and I just got to get fucked by the green weenie a couple more times before I start.
True. If it's anything, it's that I never learned my lesson. That's true.
Yeah, even though I know the green weenie is gonna fuck me, I still keep coming back for more.
It doesn't get better any time. No.
Yeah. So, but
it stretches a little more every time.
I see your point, but I I'm saying I had to disagree. I think you can't discount the entire Marvel universe because of a subpar series.
It's not just a subpar series. I'm talking about a couple subpar series and some shitty movies that I paid for in the last year.
Back to back.
Eternals was probably the beginning of the end because that movie was fucking terrible, and it really hasn't gotten a lot better since. There might be an exception sprinkled in there. I did see that Moon Knight is apparently going to be in the Blade movie if that ever fucking comes out. And I did really enjoy Moon Knight. I did really enjoy Loki. Hawkeye entertained me, but I don't know that it was for me. I'm not excited about Echo just because we really didn't get shit about the character. And I don't like, maybe that's a good thing that I don't know anything about it going into it, but I don't know. I just,
that's the thing about the TV shows is that I'll keep watching them because they're on Disney Plus, but the movies, you're going to have a hard time getting me into theaters.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to go see the Marvels at this point. If I had to decide today, I'm not going.
I'll wait. Yeah. So that's enough shit on that.
Oh God, that was exhausting. Let's get to the mailbag, shall we? Yeah. Mail call.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Mail call. Mail call. Mail call. Mail call.
All right. I'm going to start with this one. I had a late edition here, but it's tying directly into what we were talking about. This is from Jay. What spin-off TV show do you think would be beneficial for this series, The Secret Invasion? Is there anything that you could spin off of this that you would want to see?
Emilia Clarke as Captain Marvel now. Or teaming up with Captain Marvel. I think that would be like pretty cool to see some kind of an arc with her. I mean, definitely I want to see her like embrace these powers more because now she's got everything, okay? And we know she has a propensity for good, but she also has a propensity for bad. So is she going to be that morally gray character? I
disagree. I think if you put her in another movie where you want to expand the powers that she has, you're just going to get 2 hours of the fucking same fight scene that we just had. Like, I don't know.
But I mean, you have 8 seasons of her being fucking amazing in Game of Thrones, and
which has nothing to do with her having every power of every Avenger.
Right, I
villain.
get that, but she does have, as an actor, she has the ability to be.
I'm not saying
amazing.
she's not a great actor. I'm just saying that character does not intrigue me at all.
I don't know. I think something cool would be an exploration of Gaia's character through all the powers. Maybe that's where we get rid of that plot hole and they go and find their own fucking planet.
I do have one idea, but I want to hear from Duncan first. You got anything?
The only thing I can think of, I guess there's 2 ideas that I have. One of which I don't think they could really do, but it would be interesting. They'd probably have to recast, but it would be to, like, so we see Fury recruit all of these Skrulls to be his spies for 30 years, and I guess my assumption is that Talos is kind of the leader underneath Fury of those Skrulls.
Well, yeah,
So
it
I would
specifically
kind of like
said
to
that
see,
he's the general multiple times.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see an actual spy series with Talos, or maybe a movie would be better, of like what the sort of shit they got up to in those 30 years. But I think more of what I would like to see is what the hell, who is Maria Hill?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, we know who comic book Maria Hill is. Great. But we don't know anything about like MCU Maria Hill, other than now we know she's dead and we know that she was a Marine.
Yeah.
But that's like it. Like I don't know how long she was impersonated by a Skrull. I don't know why she was impersonated by a Skrull if she's been on Earth this whole time. Seemingly now, like, she didn't come down from Saber with Nick in this, so that's the only thing I can think of as to what I'd want to see is a background, some sort of Adventures of Maria Hill movie, maybe, that gives
I'd
us
be down for that.
something about her,
or how she earned the mantle of Fury's right hand. Like, yeah, I'd be down for that. The only one that I can think of is I only know it from the Civil War comic book series. There was a comic called Frontline, and it was like I'm going to do a terrible job of summing this up, but it was like a offshoot from the main storyline. So, like, if you don't know anything about the Civil War series, every major title in Marvel Comics had their own storyline in the interconnected storyline of Civil War.
in that event.
Yes, in that event. Huge event across all major titles. Well, Frontline was like, it was basically like a news reporter looking in on certain things. And I think it would be kind of cool to have like connected but not directly connected episodes of kind of like What If, of, you know, here's the moment that these characters were taken out or, you know, became Skrulls or something like that.
Sure.
That would be a stretch to keep it fresh and interesting, but like if you're talking about the spy thriller thing, which I think we could tie in with that, especially when we're talking about the higher government levels that they achieved, I think that might be cool. But that would be, again, that would have to be a hard left from anything they're doing right now.
I think that would be a cool idea for a series to do a retrospective of the whole MCU and see other people's perspective, like just the average guy on the streets perspective of like, it's like, okay, I survived the battle in New York. Like, I was a New York resident.
Like the waitress that Captain America saves. Like, that would be a cool example. Yeah.
And then it's like, and also I was on vacation in the Southern Hemisphere when a giant hand started reaching up from the fucking ground. Like, you know, what the fuck is wrong with this planet?
I don't live here anymore.
It's just the same guy at all of these like major
like, he's
events.
just like
he
the
happens
most
to be at the
unlucky
same
dude ever.
Same battle of
going to all
Earth.
these different places.
Yeah, like something like that. I think that could be a pretty funny, like, animated sort of show that they could just tie back to all
I'd be
random major
with that.
events. Because
then he like goes to sleep and I'm like, I'm the cause of all of this.
Why did this happen to me?
The normal citizen in the MCU at this point has got to just be like, yeah, whatever, like, fucking aliens, okay?
Oh
this is like my third alien invasion, bro. I don't give a fuck. Like, But
Or a documentary about how someone got their significant other snapped and then remarried, and then they got brought back, and they're like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
They both
it's like a
hate me
reality
now.
show, like Sister Wives, but it's just like blip wives.
Yeah.
Snap.
Yeah.
Blip wives.
Yeah, so she came back while we were in bed together, and we just made it work.
Worst
Yeah,
possible time.
I
This
was
hand came out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
That was mid-stroke, so I just
Yeah.
popped right into the other, and
Yeah.
Oh, that's not how it went at all. We
But
know.
that's a good question. I don't know that this series provides us with much for that, though. So.
No, I agree. All right, anybody got any more questions? What do we got?
Yep, I got another one that's
Hit it.
Secret Invasion related. This will be from our somewhat new listener. I'll give him the handle Double D.
Ooh, I like those.
Double D.
And
yeah.
Double D asked, what was Gaia's plan against Gravik if he didn't mutate them both? And is Gaia going to eventually turn bad and have all them powers? We kind of touched on this a little bit, but I don't think that her or Fury had another plan, because I don't know what the fuck you could have done.
It's all your eggs in one basket.
That
I
really
think.
felt just like dumb luck that and he's like, okay, I'm going to do the superpower infusion with you in the thing with me.
Also, that's idiotic. Why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, when he did that, I was like, what is he doing? And then he punches him and Gaia stops him. And Fury at that point. Fury stops him, and then the big reveal, oh no, it's Gaia. What was your plan? Yeah, what?
Which, again, like we talked about, 30 years working as a Skrull spy, and you weren't even, like, double-checking before you do that. Like, you're not a Skrull, right? Let me cut off your finger. Let me cut you and see what color you bleed.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Right.
no?
No
all
shit.
right, whatever. So I think that was poor writing, and I think she will not appear in the MCU again.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's my theory on her with all them powers. It will be swept under the rug.
Why wouldn't you just go to another planet and just own that shit?
Yeah.
I don't
Yep,
know.
that's probably what they'll do.
Yeah, no, I touched on my answer from the last question. I'd like to see what she does. I think it'd be really interesting, but that's just me.
I disagree.
Yeah.
It's like Superman. Nobody wants that. Oh, wait. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
She's way less interesting than Superman. But anyway,
That's true.
so we got one more question.
Yeah. This one comes to us from Dr. Giggles, MD. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
MD.
Yeah, he says, "Hey guys, my question for you is, what obscure character, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, or other, would you like to see in either a major motion picture or miniseries?" And he ends off with, "Thanks guys, a big fan of the show. Look forward to it every week." Well, hey, thanks,
that's-
Dr.
that's
Giggles.
very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so
All right.
what obscure character, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, or other, would we like to see in either a major motion picture or miniseries?
And that's tough because I could probably, especially if we're talking Star Wars, I could name 100.
Well, why don't you start?
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
Foot, meat, mouth.
Turgle from Jedi Survivor.
No, that's fucking terrible. No. Oh.
Yeah, it's like a Jar Jar show. Everybody wants that.
Oh, I think I just threw up a little bit. Oh,
You love you some Turgle.
no. I found like a bunch of his hidden things throughout, and every time I just skipped it. Like,
So
I don't fucking care.
Obscure. How about Quinlan Voss? He
Okay.
does the Black Ops shit for the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
We know he used the hidden path to get to safety from Order 66. I think that would be... I don't care what timeline you put him in, I would be down for that. Like, during the war, before the war, after the war, I don't care. I want some Black Ops Jedi shit. There you go.
I'd dig that. That'd be cool.
Drop.
I have two. I don't know. The obscure character thing to me is weird because like I just am so absorbed in nerdy shit that I'm like, does anybody like this is obscure to normal people? Is that okay? But like, so two characters that I really love that I would like to see a lot more of. The first one is The Question. This is a guy named Vic Sage. He's like a reporter, or he has like a not a newspaper, a news show, or kind of like a I don't know what to compare it to, but basically he's a talk show personality sort of thing. But he's also a superhero. And he is he's the inspiration for Rorschach in Watchmen. So originally Alan Moore wanted to use actual established DC Comics characters. He wanted to use The Question in place of Rorschach, Blue Beetle in place of Night Owl, and so on and so forth. And so The Question is basically this, like, he gets one of his investigations gets him caught up into some shit, and he gets killed, and he gets rescued by this Zen martial arts master who takes him, nurses him back to health, and kind of like changes his whole life, and teaches him martial arts, teaches him this Zen philosophy, and he kind of combines that with his investigative skills as a journalist, and he goes out and he becomes a superhero known as The Question, and he uses this technology where he has a mask, but it's just it makes it look like he has no face, like it's just skin that covers his whole face. So it's really like off-putting for people when they see this like faceless guy appear and confront them for their wrongdoings. But he has like some really great comics from like the early 90s that I would love to see adapted. Fun fact, he was also created by Steve Ditko, who's one of the co-creators of a dozen different famous Marvel characters that you've heard of, including like Spider-Man and stuff like that. So I'd like to see him. And then another one, which is also a Steve Ditko creation, is The Creeper. Are either of you familiar with The Creeper?
Nope, just the Jeepers Creepers.
Nope. He does appear in the Batman the Animated Series, and like when they called it the New Batman Adventures, but and then he's also in the Arkham video game series once or twice, I think. But he's another, which I didn't do this intentionally, but he's another TV personality. But he basically can transform into this creeper. It's kind of like, did you guys ever see Freakazoid?
Nope.
No, I'm just striking out here. But basically, he turns into this like weird, like absolutely batshit altered personality who's got green skin. He's super jacked. He wears like a fur, like boa kind of cape thing, and like striped underwear. And he's, like I said, absolutely insane. But he's got like super strength, super agility. He's like
Jesse Ventura, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. He's got this ability to like hypnotize and intimidate people and shit. And I don't know, it's hard to, I guess it doesn't come across as very interesting, but it's a character that I'd really like to see more of in either, a side role in a show or in a movie or a miniseries or something, or kind of like maybe a like they did with Werewolf by Night. Something like that would be really cool, I think.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Gimme?
Yeah, so I spent all that time not listening to hardly anything you said.
I could tell.
Yeah, trying to figure out a really good character, because I wanted something really solid, and I ain't got shit.
Sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah,
just say ROM and let's move on.
I mean, I will say a character that's getting their own show. That is kind of interesting is Lando. He's going to get his own show. That was recently confirmed.
Maybe.
Well, okay, so
Disney's the king of canceling shit before they actually.
Okay, so it's like 75% there that he's going to.
I hope he does. Yeah, I hope he does.
But obscure character, gosh, because I was kind of in the same box, you know, like what defines an obscure character? Is it obscure to like the common person? Is it obscure to us because we're so deep into it? You know, like you name a character from Star Wars or something, we probably know a little bit more.
I
about
guess
the
I based mine off of what the casual fan. So
Sure.
that was my choice.
You know, I don't have a good answer, and so I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
That's fair.
That's weak. I mean, fair. That's what I meant. Fair. Well, yeah, that was
I will say he does have a follow up though, and he says this is more towards Duncan. He says, "P.S.
Oh, boy.
The correct title of the game Duncan was thinking of was DBZ Budokai Tenkat. Woo!
I don't think that's correct at all.
Tenkaichi.
Tenkaichi 3. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking of.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3. So if he couldn't even get the name of the game right, what makes you think he could ever have beaten me?
Yep.
Yeah. Throw down the gauntlet, that guy.
I was being sarcastic in the last episode when I mentioned him. This is my good buddy and college roommate, but he whooped my ass in that game all the fucking time. So
Okay.
he fucking put me to bed and tucked me in. So
Wow.
but
I didn't know that was a real thing. I thought Jimmy was having a stroke or something.
Yeah, having a real Mitch McConnell moment. Oops.
And that's twice in one episode.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
I was probably going to edit the other one out.
Well, you can't now.
Yeah, I can't now.
Gotcha. Got him.
Oh, it's in there.
Gotta keep
Well, fuck.
So move on to the
Secret Invasion just sucked the life out of me. So let's get the safety brief on, shall
yeah.
we?
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll start. Hydrate. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, it's been fucking hot.
It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man, it was like fucking 108 the other day when I was outside doing shit. I was like,
Yeah.
this is not cool.
don't,
Wearing a fucking bulletproof vest, like, no, thank you.
you don't want the silver bullet. Trust me on this. Hydrate. Stay cool. I don't know. Watch some fucking nerd shit or play a video game or something. Just don't go outside.
Yeah.
Or interact with people, period. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
Don't go to Tijuana.
Yeah, tomorrow is the F1 Spa race in Belgium. Today was the sprint race. So Max Verstappen won. Pierre Gasly came in 3. And Oscar Piastri, he was number 2. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit of a F1 fan.
I was convinced you had a stroke, is what I thought was happening.
2-stroke jokes.
It's like, whew.
Yeah. So the big race tomorrow. This is going to be a day behind once we release it, but we'll see who wins. I'm really excited that Danny Ricciardo is back in the seat there on an F1 car. So pretty excited for that. But now that I am officially a college grad, done. Yeah, I am going to be investing some more time into Diablo 4. It's been on my slate. I've been talking about it for weeks and saying I'm getting into D4. I'm getting into it, but rest assured, I played the beta, and now I'm going to get into it. That's on the slate of things to do.
Fair enough. All right. Excellent safety brief. That was well done. I feel much safer already.
Yeah.
So,
Get
All
after
right.
it.
well, we'll see you on the next one. What
about Duncan?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was just gonna let you end the episode. That's fine.
I was like,
I'm probably gonna play some God of War Ragnarok. I've been working my way through that.
fuck yeah.
The kiddos like watching me play it though, so I haven't been like playing it when they're not watching, so it's been slow going. But and then Invincible 2, we didn't talk about this, but Invincible 2 season 2 dropped a trailer. Really excited for that show. We're not going to get into it because we'll be here for another fucking hour. But I thought I'd maybe start reading some of the comics.
Nice.
I might buy an omnibus and just dive into that. But I also have Spider-Verse and
That's it. Let's get it over with. You've taken enough of my time, Secret Invasion.
Hey,
time to forget that show ever existed.
Yeah, I just want to say again, thank you to everybody that has liked, shared, followed, subscribed, any of those social interactions, commented, everything.
And where can we have those social interactions? Duncan, you want to help us
all
out?
over. We're like the clap in Korea. We're all over the place. But go ahead.
Yeah, you can find us primarily on Twitter and Instagram.
X.
Our handle there. Sorry, it's not Twitter, it's X.
Yeah.
Our handle at both of those is at Geek BN Vets. That's at Geek Bravo November Vets on both of those. So check us out, like, follow, share, all that stuff. It means the world. It helps out a lot. So thank you.
Don't forget about that merch. We have
merch. As previously mentioned, we do have some new merch for the new logo. You can get that at geekbattalionvets.threadless.com. So a lot of cool designs there. Check them out.
Yeah, and if you want to submit a question via the mailbag, you can hit up our email at geekbattalionvets@gmail.com. That's all spelled out. geekbattalionvets@gmail.com. All right, well, I've been Jimmy.
I'm still B.
And I have been the life model decoy of Duncan.
Finally.
There it is. He said the thing. All right, we will see you guys on the next one.
You're damn right. Tupac lives.
Rock out, rock out.